near Mizell. Keeper. Timekeeper's up. Very good afternoon and welcome to our live coverage of the 2017 representative match between Tasmania and the NEAFL, coming to you live from beautiful Blunston Arena here in Hobart. We are set for what is going to be a cracking contest, and joining me this afternoon in the commentary box, all the way down from the NEAFL, is Mark Kennedy. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, great to be here, and it's going to be a fantastic match, and it's good to I suppose get a feel of how this is going to line up. Form is just one of those fantastic things that is always difficult to see in these rep games.
Look forward to getting your insights as the day goes on, Mark, and also joining me in the commentary box, as he does on the TSL live stream every weekend, is the former South Launceston superstar Cam Brown. Brownie, welcome.
Good afternoon, Brent. Good afternoon, Mark, and really looking forward to representative footy. It's we only get it every couple of years, Brent, and obviously we've got the NEAFL coming today, and it's a pretty good history between these two teams. I think we were just talking off air, they've played each other 3 times, and under different forms, it's got to be said, the NEAFL from time to time, the way they've structured their team up, but currently it's Tasmania 2, the NEAFL 1, but really looking forward to this one, Brent, and almost from an individual player's perspective, it's an opportunity for you to represent your region. Tassie is a state, obviously, so lots of passion behind that, and NEAFL are a growing footy organisation, so they're, I guess, coming together as regions, so a little bit different dynamics there, but from the individual players, what an opportunity for them on a big stage like this, and I guess from the competition's perspective, it gives you an opportunity to see how your team, how your competition itself structures up against another elite competition, so lots to play for today, boys.
As we see Tasmania run out onto the ground for this big occasion in the map, the NEAFL already out on the ground. Speaking of on the ground, joining us this afternoon, boundary side, is AFL Tasmania's Damien Gill. Gilly, good afternoon. Bring us up to date on the conditions.
Good afternoon, Brenno. You got me loud and clear down here on the boundary. Conditions are beautiful for football. Absolutely no excuses today, boys. Not too much wind at the moment, but we know the way Blunston Arena plays, the scoring end is to the right of screen, and we'll probably see a breeze throughout the afternoon. But yeah, conditions absolutely spectacular. No clouds in the sky, very sunny, drenched Blunston Arena this afternoon. Just the one change from the two teams, Zach Webster coming out and in comes Bryce Walsh. So apart from that, NEAFL unchanged coming in, and Tasmania as lined up outside of that one change with Webster coming in, and in comes Bryce Walsh.
Very nicely done. Damien Gill will join us throughout the afternoon on the boundary. Mark Kennedy, as I said, is here from the NEAFL. Mark, your team only flew down with the players that will be playing today. No emergencies made the trip.
Yeah, that's right. It's very interesting to, I suppose, for the NEAFL to come together. There was 3 separate flights in which they came down on initially. So they're coming down from Sydney. NT came into Sydney, and then the Queensland guys came down straight. So it's a real collective in the way they're bringing things together.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because we went to the press conference yesterday and we spoke to the coach, and it is hard logistically to get this team together. Brownie, it must have been a lot for Tasmania to be able to train for a month or so, but the NEAFL yesterday had their first training session.
Yeah, and look, whether or not that'll be an advantage, we'll find out in about a couple of hours, Brent. But yeah, obviously Tasmania do have a little bit of an advantage, you would think, having to get together over a period. And it's been a big squad, wasn't it, Brent? We started with about 46 from a Tasmanian perspective, and then whittled down. A disappointing late withdrawal for Zach Webster. Would have been really nice to see the ex-Hawthorn draftee run around today. But obviously another great opportunity for Bryce Walsh, who's in the captain of Lauderdale and has been in pretty good form, so he'll get his opportunity today.
Mark, John Blair, we spoke to him yesterday at the press conference. How hard is it for him as a coach to bring all these players together and get them up for today, given you're from so many different regions?
Well, prior to yesterday's little training session, they only had one little other get-together, so it's really difficult, and I suppose you've got to use some generalisations when you bring these guys together. You can't give them set game plans, because you can't really, I suppose, give them too many set plays. So, yeah, it certainly is difficult.
Not far away from the national anthem here at Blunston Arena. Tasmania still going through their warm-up. Brownie, what do you make of the Tasmanian squad? We touched on it a little bit earlier, but it was a big one initially, 46 players. It's been whittled down now to the 23 taking the field. Unfortunately, Nat Franklin misses out. Pretty unlucky. He's been in wonderful form for Lauderdale, but it's a pretty competitive side we've got out there for Tasmania today. Yeah,
look, I would have liked to have seen Nat Franklin play. I thought perhaps his form would have been nearly good enough to get him over the line, but says something, I guess, about the depth of the Tasmanian squad. But I think there's plenty of experience there, and I think that probably what's distinctive about this Tasmanian team is the ability to play in different positions. If we use Sam Siggins, for example, who's been the ex-draftee at Adelaide, who's played, we've seen him a lot in the ruck, Brent, but he might be able to play as a key back today, and McKenna might be another one that can go back and forward. So that's been, I guess, a key feature in the selection of the squad, to be able to play in multiple positions. So looking forward to that. And there's a lot of, I guess, little sub-stories in this, isn't there, Brent, too, with, as Mark would know, Daniel Joseph, the Aspie player this time last year, was running around for Glenorchy playing in a premiership team. So, and the NEAFL have got a number of players with ex-AFL experience, so too is Tassie. So this is a real opportunity for all those players to, I guess, test themselves at a higher level and a higher stage. So really looking forward to it as we get ready for the national anthem.
Players lining up. Not a huge crowd in here at Blunston Arena this afternoon. Probably looking around 1,000 at the moment. Beautiful day though for football, as we pause now for the Australian national anthem.
You going to be fit enough, Ben?
What a moment for the two teams lining up for the national anthem. Only minutes away from the opening bounce here at Blunston Arena. Mark, tell us about the NEAFL, some of the players we should watch out for today. There's some former AFL listed players running around out there, none bigger than Big Jack Anthony.
Yeah, Jack Anthony comes into this side, and of course the Collingwood Fremantle play. He played 50-odd games for those two clubs, 83 goals, but he's played up front in front of the sticks, and he's also played down back this year, so it's going to be interesting to see where he's going to line up. I believe he'll play forward though. Xavier Richards is another one, comes fresh out of the AFL Grand Final, so for the Sydney Swans, another massive one there, and one from outside those ex-AFL players, Jordan Kerris, who's going to be really important in the middle of the ground, and he's been averaging 36 possessions a game, if you don't mind, and 10 clearances throughout the NEAFL season 2017.
You mentioned Xavier Richards there. Interesting story. Played, as you said, in the grand final last year, but was playing reserves, you were saying a little earlier.
Yeah, had a couple of injuries to start the season off at Sydney Uni, played round one, and then had a couple of weeks, such as the depth of Sydney Uni, played a couple of weeks in the Sydney Footy League and kicked a bag of goals to put himself back in that NEAFL competition.
We had the toss of the coin, Damien Gill. Who's kicking which way? Are you there, Gilly? Can't get Damien Gill at the moment. Brownie, bring us up to date with who won the toss.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Braden Webb, the captain of Tasmania, won the toss and will be kicking it left of screen. What do we call that? And Brent, the Church Street in, I think, from memory.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or the David Boone ends to the right of screen for those joining us interstate.
A great thrill for Braden Webb, the captain of his state. He's already won a medal for best player for Tassie, and his father, Ricky Hanlon, was a great footballer from New Norfolk and doing wonderful things up in the north of the state in Queensland.
OAM, Rick Hanlon too, I might add. He was that honour bestowed upon him Australia Day, and done a power of work in North Queensland, and AFL Cape York House is an initiative that he got off the ground, which brings young Indigenous players around the place, and I know Rick would be very proud of what his son's achieved so far in his footy career.
Have you got me, boys?
We do have you there, Damien.
You got me there, boys?
We do, Damien. Bring us up to date from the boundary.
Sorry about that, a few technical issues, but yeah, just updating. Braden Webb did win the toss and he's kicking towards the members' end, so we know that traditionally the scoring end is probably towards the David Boone stand end, so interesting choice first up, obviously backing in us to bring it home.
So
us
that's
being Tasmania, of course.
Exactly. Neutral broadcast this afternoon, Damo. So Tasmania kicking it to the left of screen, the NEAFL to the right. About to get underway for the representative match for 2017.
Wayne, bring us up.
Yeah, beauty.
Umpire holds the ball aloft. Here we go. Representative football for 2017. Tasmania taking on the NEAFL. The ball smashed into the turf here at Blunston Arena. An early whistle. And another ball up.
Interesting matchup, boys. Sam Siggins has got the job on Xavier Richards.
So Richards on Siggins as we're underway again. All locked up, not going too far early. Another ball up.
Good to see the sheer size of Tom Couch in the middle there, really making his presence known.
Interesting to see where he plays today, Cam. He's been drifting forward and in through the midfield for North Launceston, his club here in Tasmania. Tasmania have the ball. Real scrap here at the moment, early in this game. Ball still hasn't travelled too far, and another ball up. What are the key matchups today, Cam?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it looks like Gavin Gross has picked up Mitch Thorpe for Tasmania, who is presenting himself at centre-half forward at the moment as Tassie get the clearance.
Ball in the middle, centre square here at Blunston Arena. Cricket wicket still slightly visible from the summer.
Yeah.
Bit under a minute, bit over a minute in this game so far. Ball's tapped out, NEAFL have advantage. They get the quick handball away. O'Brien's there lurking for Tasmania. Ball spills out the back. Still in the hands of Tasmania now. Get it inside 50. Was it a push in the back? Umpire let it go on the NEAFL. Run it out through Harper. Got the ball away. O'Brien for Tasmania. Dragged down with the footy. Umpire will ball it up. So the crowd's starting to build up slightly here. Duffy wins the tap down for the home team. And another ball up, so slow start here, Mark.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the umpire will go again. So Michael and Duffy. Michael at the front. He's Tate with the footy. He's besieged straight away, and the umpire will surely ball this one up again. 60 metres around from the Tasmania goal. Throws it up quickly. Michael. I think he'll win the free kick on this occasion. No, in fact, he'll go to Duffy for too high. So Duffy will have the chance to put Tasmania inside forward 50. Not sure whether to handball. He goes with the kick, goes down deep, and with the target, with the very good hands. Coming up with it is big Bart McCulloch.
Great mark from Bart McCulloch. Was under a bit of an injury cloud heading into this game, Cam, but great to see he's back playing, and he's also a player that's won a best on-ground Lefroy medal for Tasmania in the past.
He has, and he played pretty well a couple of weeks ago when we saw him here, Brent, for covering the local footy, and the NEAFL player just lost touch on him. It wasn't a bad kick from Duffy. I thought at one stage he wasn't sure what he was going to do with the footy, but an opportunity here for McCulloch. McCulloch
lines up, splits the middle, and Tasmania draw first blood in the representative game for 2017. Well, that'll give them some huge confidence early, Can, scoring the first of the game.
And look, they're probably going to rely heavily on McCulloch and Thorpe, both former drafted players and played a bit of footy as premiership players at South Launceston going back a few years ago. But he's a player that Tassie will certainly look forward to try and get some goals. He can actually move forward up onto a wing if need be. So, but at the moment it looks like Tassie are going to start him deep in the goal square.
And the NEAFL side have got a very young back line, 3 teenagers back there, so it's always going to be a difficult assignment for them today. So Keris gets it away to Tate at the restart. They go to half forward. Tassie might get away with the ball. In fact, they'll win the free kick as Keris came through very hard.
Going to be a throw, I think, boys, the other way.
A throw. So Keris, he thought he gave a free kick away, ends up with the footy, goes inside forward 50 and just lurking there by himself. The bloke who I refer to as Alberto Del Rio. He looks like a Mexican wrestler with that moustache. It's Andrew Boston.
Well, we know a lot about him, Cam, don't we? Andrew Boston, former Gold Coast son, 4 seasons there, and he played just the 16 games for 10 goals.
Always a very good kick of the footy, too, and certainly played some good senior footy at the Gold Coast.
So Boston comes in. It's a good kick off the boot, and they'll all get around him. So Andrew Boston, the boy from Southport, adds the first for the NEAFL. And a good opening by both sides, being able to get it on the board.
An exciting start. Damien Gill, we might go down to you. It seems the wind's picked up pretty a lot in the last couple of minutes or so. It certainly has here in the commentary box.
I mean, Boston's been in some good form, hasn't he, Mark, as a best and fairest winner with his local club, Southport. And Tassie were probably a little bit slow there. They obviously pushed forward, thought they had the free kick, and Boston just found some space there too much, and Mitch Carter was a little bit frustrated with that.
Back in the middle. 2 ruckmen go at it again, but the umpire's blown the whistle. It's a free kick going to Tasmania, and it will go to
Couch.
Looks like it's Tom Couch who'll take the kick, the North Launceston coach here in the Tasmanian State League. He drives it inside 50. One-on-one contest. It's punched away, and it's a free kick though going to the map. So
Zach Bird, I think.
Zach Bird, the North Launceston player, will line up, slight angle, and will kick from about 40 metres out.
Didn't see a lot in the free kick on our first look at it, boys, but Zach Burt, we know he's a very strong, difficult matchup. He's good below his knees, he's strong in one-on-one contests, and normally a pretty good kick at the footy.
So Burt lines up, so a high ball, looks okay, it's just pushed to the left though, minus score. So Tasmania push out to 1-1-7, the NEAFL 1 straight.
I think Tom Couch is going to be a dominant player for Tasmania today, Brent. I expect him to be in our best 2 or 3 players.
So the NEAFL come away. Up to the wing now. There's McKenna with the big fist, just pushes it back about good 20-25 metres, and then following up with a very good tackle on that occasion was O'Brien. Tassie, they get the ball going their way. The little kick went out of bounds though, so the NEAFL will win the footy back. And that's Martin with it. He goes back inside, finds the young man in Barron Hay. The hyphen comes to the commentary side of the ground, looking for a target. Just can't quite find one. And that was Batoli Simmons he was looking for, and then Stacks on the mill here, so the umpire will ball it up.
You mentioned Baron Hay there. He's been in some pretty good form too, and I think has been on an academy list before it's at New South Wales level, around the same time as Jacob Hopper and those sort of players from memory.
Yeah, there's a lot of those Swans Academy boys in amongst this side today. A lot of teenagers there, show a lot of promise. And the ball's not going too far from the restart there, and the umpire will get it again. So half-forward flank commentary side of the ground for Tasmania.
So just almost 7.5 minutes gone in this opening term. It's 1-1-7 to 1 straight. Tasmania with the 1 point advantage. NEAFL get the kick away, but dragged down at the same time. And another ball up. So that's the story of the day so far. As we said, perfect conditions for footy. A little bit of wind about.
Jay Bowden just pushing forward as we speak inside the 50. Brent, he's burst through from that stoppage.
Can't wait to see Jay Bowden go about it today. Missed last year's state game. As we see Walsh drive it inside 50, top of the square. No one home for Tasmania. NEAFL collect it, and Mark couldn't be taken, but there looks like they're almost out of danger. Umpire blows the whistle again, though. Free kick going the way of the NEAFL. So it's Harper, I think, with the football. Back pocket.
Prolific possession getter is Harper.
Drives it to the wing, the far wing here at Bell Reef. Still with the NEAFL, the visiting team today, of course. Starting to build a really nice rivalry, these two teams. This is the 4th occasion they'll play. Tasmania have a 2-1 advantage as it stands. They'd love to win this one again today as the ball goes up. Beautifully collected there by the NEAFL. They go forward again. Punch from behind. Umpire blew the whistle. And it's staying with...
Was advantage down the ground.
Yeah.
So Tassie got numbers back here, so the NEAFL might have to work their way through it here with some short chip-ups.
So our first look at Jack Anthony. Drives it inside 50. Punched away out of bounds. Boundary throw-in.
So one of the players that will get under the Tassie skin today is Damien Bonney. He is an absolute pest. So it's not so much what he does, it's probably what he says that you'll notice the Tassie boys getting into him. The ball back into play. Give that one to Daffy. Reinhardt in the ruck now. Kerris gets a quick handball away. I know how to hand it. There's Blackberry. He's forced over the boundary line. They'll have a throw in out of sight. 50 metres. The NEAFL attacking.
A slow start. Just the 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes. The ball comes back in, right on the 50 arc. The NEAFL. No one can take a clean break. They do eventually though, but it's still alive. But again, boundary throw-in. Same spot as 30 seconds earlier.
It's just hard contested footy at the moment. Both teams have structured up pretty well defensively and not a lot of time and space for the ball carrier.
And it comes again. Ball still alive. Chance now for the NEAFL to go at goal again. Handball over the top. Real big chance here. Goes on the right. Unfortunately for James Nils, that is out on the full. So Tasmania get the advantage.
This is Carter in the back pocket. Take the ball. Looking for options. He'll probably come up the line. Goes short. And it's a good kick. And finds Foon. Been in terrific form too, I believe.
Really good
in
form.
the TSL.
He's been a consistent player for a number of years now, Jay Foon, along with his counterpart, Jay Lockhart.
So Foon goes up the line. Toy wins the ball at ground level. Batoli Simmons lays the tackle. And it was in the back though, so winning it will be Fife. Now we're going to go on, but they decide to bring the ball up. So Fife has one short, middle of the ground to Whitford. They're attacking in numbers. Go to the middle of the ground here. Here's McCulloch. Kick the first goal of the game. Goes long inside forward 50. Thorpe's the target. Who's caught at the back with Gross on that occasion. Then butters up. Lays the tackle to Thorpe and keeps the ball in the area. And we'll have a ball up 40 metres from the Tassie goal right in front.
Pretty good build up there from Tassie there, Brennan, that forward inside 50. Mitch Thorpe would have liked to have worked his way to the front position, but some neat foot skills from Fife and Whitford, who used the ball so very well.
Up it goes again. NEAFL win advantage, and now they've got some time here. Plenty of time here for Boston. Gets the kick away, and they drive it long again. McKenna's there for Tasmania, but a good mark taken by the former Fremantle and Collingwood player Jack Anthony. Hasn't got a lot to work with at the moment. decides to load up and go inside 50, one-on-one contest. Mark couldn't be taken. Boston though again, couldn't get the handball away, and now it's the advantage of Tasmania. They come up the commentary side wing here. McKenna looking for an option. Goes forward, not much on offer. Burt couldn't take the mark. Big strong tackle though. And the ball goes out of bounds, boundary throw in.
Good effort from Zach Bird. He probably should have taken the mark, but went back into the contest, and a good tackle, and forced a boundary throw in, and Tasmania will get another opportunity here.
In it comes. NEAFL win the tap down. Handball out from Keris. Ball spills to ground again. And struggled over the boundary line for another boundary throw in. So almost 13 minutes gone and just the 2 goals kicked so far.
Mark, already Jordan Keris getting his hands on the foot. He can clearly see he's a tough inside midfielder.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an absolute fitness machine. He, before he got on the plane, he swam 2.5 kilometres and trained the night before with Southport. He just loves it. He eats up the hard work as he's in there tackling again, and he'll hold the ball up. And you can see just those lack of combinations that are happening for the NEAFL at the moment. But this is rep footy, so players don't play with each other obviously every week, so it's difficult to find, and even for the Tassie boys. They'll come away with it now. Just looking inside on that occasion, Carter goes to the middle of the ground. He's got the run of Lockhart. Goes away, he's got the strapping on the left leg, gets a kick away right to the forward 50. Well done on that occasion, mopped up. They'll use a chain of handballs to get it forward. That's Bowden. And inside forward 50, just spoiled away on that occasion from Mott. They'll keep it alive, the kick forward. Gross is there as the custodian. And the ball will roll out of play, 30 metres around from Tassie's goal, out of side.
Yeah, Jay Lockhart, a player who I think will be looking to have a really good game off half-back today. Blistering pace and good ball carry, and uses it really well by foot.
Ball back in, right in Tasmania's attacking zone, but the NEAFL escape danger. They drive it long out of defence to the far side here at Blunston Arena. Good, strong mark taken by Jack Anthony.
It's going to be a good match-up, that one, boys. Nick McKenna, who's played a lot of his footy this year for Burnie up forward, but a very hard, tough defender. But Anthony has led him to the ball on a couple of occasions with a couple of beautiful marks overhead.
Cooper kicks it forward to his teammate in Martin. Not a lot on offer for him. Holds the ball up in the end, goes straight to the wing. Oh, good strong mark taken there by Swan. He goes short to Michael, who was a top-up player for Essendon last year. And that's out of bounds. So
well, the umpire must have said he's played on there for it to be actually out of bounds. And I didn't see him actually go off his line, boys.
No, I agree. Strange one for mine.
Very interesting. Anyway, ball back in. 2 ruckmen go at it again. Tap down. No one's advantage, but ends up in the hands of the NEAFL player in Seb Tate, former Gold Coast son, of course. And the free kick going here to Tasmania. So they play on quickly the map. Here's Cox Goodyear. Gets it to Webb, who goes right to the 50 arc, but the mark taken by the visitors in Harper. Centres the footy to Anchors. Northern Territory Thunder player, of course. He drives it to the wing. Bowden was there, but the mark taken out in front again by Keris, who's had a lot of it early, Brownie.
Yeah, had a really good start, and obviously, as Mark mentioned, strong over the footy, and just a great mark, great contested mark there.
So he's coming straight off the ground too, boys. I think he's
dislocated the finger. Yeah.
So we see that from here.
Yeah, he kicked it off to Batoli, Simmons, so they go long inside forward 50. Anthony's there against 3. They went down like 9 pins. Ball ends up with Anchors. Anchors across the goal. He's going to roll out. Not a bad result if it wasn't going to be a goal. Overthrow in right beside the point post, out of side. Yeah,
Tassie had the numbers there, and Jay Lockhart it was who came across with the spoil. Maybe didn't need to go on that occasion, and the NEAFL with a rushed opportunity there.
Talking about Keris, boys, he's already had 7 possessions for the afternoon. As the ball comes back into play, there's Daffy down there. Getting the quick kick away was Couch. Plenty of players around the contest, though. It's tight in there. Boston away quickly. Came off the side of the boot, out of bounds on the full of go, so Tassie will win the footy back.
So we approach time on. Just the 2 goals kicked so far in this game.
Boys, you got me?
Damien Gill, boundary slide. What do you got for us, Gilly?
Coming to the ground. So he's been prolific early, and that won't halt his momentum.
So the ball is with Jackson O'Brien from Clarence. Clarence Star, of course, returned to the TSL from South Australia this year. He goes to Bryce Walsh, who was a late inclusion this afternoon for Zach Webster, who didn't pass his fitness test. Here he is, the superstar of the TSL, Jay Bowden, of course.
It'll be interesting to see how he's used today, boys. We're used to him so damaging inside that forward 50. I think at some stage he'll spend some time there.
So the ball in the hands of the NEAFL. They've done well to get it back. It's Hebron. Ball tied up now. Now they're running it out of the defence now. Skills to ground. No one can quite get it to their advantage. Inside the attacking 50 now for Tasmania. But the NEAFL are away now. They've got some time and space and some loose players. One man by himself is Richards. Played in the grand final last year, the AFL grand final, of course. And anchors now. He drives it inside 50, spots a target. Went over his head though. Look at this, could this be a goal? Oh, nice little effort there from Reinhard, but just a minor score.
I think Reinhard might have been at the Sydney Swans Academy and nearly made the most of a difficult opportunity there.
Look, he's a Sam Reid type in this competition. He's flexible, he can play in the ruck, he can play forward and back as the ball's on the outer side now. Keras feeds it up, to this time to nobody in particular, making it look half decent, I suppose, and winning the free kick is the NEAFL player. We'll see him get up off the ground. And that is
not Daniel
Joseph.
Yeah, it is.
So the local in opposition colours, and he must have thought he was in Tassie still, because he kicked it straight to the map, and they go back, and now it's Bowden with it, and he'll go. They're away. Here's Lockhart. So still inside his defensive 50, commentary side of the ground. Measures the kick nicely, finds the young man in Arnold, and they're away, so they'll bring it along. So chain of handballs. They might run themselves into trouble. Fife, he's wrapped up by Toy, and this might go over the boundary line, so they've just messed around with a little bit there and gave NEAFL a chance to get the stoppage or the throw in to restart.
It is interesting to see how these teams sort of form together, as you said earlier, Mark. Obviously haven't trained a lot together. Here's Couch, who's been a superstar since arriving in Tasmania at the start of this season. McCulloch bounced over the top of his head. NEAFL win it back. Great work there from Martin. Tassie turned it back over though. Blackberry was there. Ball wrapped up. Umpire's letting it go, but eventually blows his whistle.
Just want to ask you about Harper, Mark, because already 7 or 8 touches, and you mentioned he's a prolific ball winner at NEAFL level, and he's going to be one that Tassie's going to have to watch today.
Yeah, he's a running machine too, so he and Hiscox particularly are fantastic runners and great accumulators. Hiscox more of a finisher, where Harper's really that accumulator. So it's a free kick, it's going for a throw, it's going Tassie's way, so this is O'Brien with the footy.
Knows this ground well, Mark. This is his home ground in the TSL for Clarence, so he would have kicked plenty of goals from this spot at training, you'd think. Won a premiership on this ground as well. He goes short though, and the mark couldn't be taken by the map, and eventually out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So obviously he was probably a little bit out of his range there, Cam.
Yeah, it was
shorter option.
It was Mitch Thorpe on the lead down. It was a good late spoil from Grace, and Mitch with a good lead, but just couldn't get separation from his opponent on that occasion.
Back in play, Tasmania's attacking 50. Webb picks up the footy. He's wrapped up though, got the handball away, but all too late. And the kick will go to the NEAFL for holding the ball.
You cop a free kick for a 360. I think he did a 720 there. So the NEAFL will bring it out. They go to the outer side. So we'll see if they've got the numbers there going high. There's an NEAFL player, and they just keep it in. This is Cooper. He's got a little bit of run and carry, so the young man, he's just bursting away. In fact, it's Hiscox we talked about. He goes inside forward 50, and just holding his feet well is Tim Barrett. An interesting one about Tim Barrett, boys. 2 years off with an ACL, and he's come back into the NEAFL after a couple of games only.
He's got a brother at AFL level, hasn't he? obviously his brother Jake, and also the cousin of Luke Bruce at Hawthorn. So some good pedigree there.
So Barrett comes in, shoots for goal. It's close, it's there. So the NEAFL, they take the lead for the first time in the contest, 2-1-13. Tasmania 1-1-7.
Well, that was set up, wasn't it, boys, from Jake Hiscock, a beautiful run and carry along the outer side there. And he's always been a very good athlete, boys. Didn't play a lot of senior footy at the Sydney Swans, but was always, only the one game, and which I think was last year. And did very well at the draft camp from a 3 kilometre and a beep test point of view. He's in the number 1 or 2. I think he might have been breaking a record going back a few years ago now, but he's going to be one that Tassie have to watch today. 2
national 800-metre titles, Jack Hiscock, so he's no slouch.
That's the voice of Mark Kennedy, who's joining us here in Tasmania from the NEAFL this afternoon. Brent Costello and Cam Brown with you also. Damien Gill, boundary side. Ball bounced into the turf. Umpire will call that back. So we've 22 minutes gone in this opening quarter.
Bit sticky in that centre wicket too.
It is. No drop-in pitches here at Blunston Arena, unfortunately, as the ball's wrapped up not too far from where it was bounced a few moments ago.
Of course, he's hard out of Tom Couch, isn't he? I said at the start of the game, Brent, I expected him to feature really prominently today. He's already up to about 4 or 5 touches. In fact, it was Webb on that occasion with the tackle.
So it's the NEAFL again. Been taken high there. Umpire let it go. O'Brien cleverly taps it forward. Still has the footy. He eventually is wrapped up without it. Play on, says the umpire. And now Gross kicks it cleverly, but it's straight to the opposition. And Bryce Walsh takes the mark. As we said earlier, late inclusion this afternoon for Zach Webster.
Has he changed boots already, Walsh? I thought he was in some bright yellow ones to
he
get
might have changed his wheels.
Yeah,
Here's McKenna. Straight over the top of his head. Picks up the footy. Finds the short option. Ball's on the far side of the ground here. Tries to kick it to Arnold. Couldn't take the mark. Ends up in the hands of Tasmania, though, McGuinness, who's former Brisbane Lion, would know a lot of these players, Mark, having played in the NEAFL himself.
He spent a lot of time in the NEAFL, unfortunately for him, so he will be well acquainted with a few of them.
Here's Siggins, drives it inside 50. No one there to take the mark. Picked up by Tasmania, though. They wheel around. It goes high, but unfortunately way off the mark and out of bounds on the full.
Well, it's a perceived pressure, isn't it? Had a little bit of time and space there, and it's that perceived pressure, that, that hot contest that forced him to not settle. So the NEAFL will bring it back into play. The big punch there was Siggins, and going the other way was Anthony, pushing down. Here's Arnold. Bonning's right there with him, puts a saddle on him. Play on, says the umpire. And that's Siggins that takes the ball over the line. I've called him and I think Daffy around the wrong way there. Apologies.
Pretty close to quarter time here. Only the 3 goals kicked in this opening quarter. Really pressurised game so far. Duffy wins the tap down. Straight to the NEAFL player though in anchors. But Tasmania win the footy back. Bryce Walsh, he's been very busy. And they run through now. Loading up on 50 was Couch, and that's gone through for a minor score. So
he's looked dangerous. He's looked dangerous, Couch, on a couple of occasions now. Has had some shots inside 50.
It's Holy Simmons. Ball goes long to the wing right in front of us here in the commentary box, but Sam Siggins takes a great mark on the chest. Not a lot on offer, so he decides to go long, but it goes high instead. It's gone straight into the centre square. Oh, good strong mark taken there by Tasmania. And it was Zach Burt, who's been in wonderful form for North Launceston. He's leading the RACT Media Award here at the moment. Ball inside 50. Oh, and unfortunately time beats Bart McCulloch, who was ready to load up for a shot on goal. So that is quarter time. Tasmania 1-2-8, trailing the NEAFL 2-1-13. Boys, your thoughts on the opening quarter?
Yeah, well, look, it was interesting. A 5-point lead to the NEAFL, and probably deserved. They probably looked slightly the better team, but gee, there's not a lot in it, and not a lot of time and space for the ball carry. And I suppose the interesting feature for the forwards, it's been difficult for them to get some separation and get some really quality ball inside 50. So plenty of work being done between the arcs, boys, but a little bit going on off the ball here as we see. But look, really liked the work of a couple of the NEAFL players, in particular there, Mark. I thought Harper was really good, and Anchors and Keris in particular.
Just letting some highlights from the opening quarter here on the screen at the moment. Mark, your thoughts on the NEAFL so far?
Yeah, they've been competitive, haven't they? And they've cracked in, and at times they've looked like they could have been exposed through the corridor, but they've managed to just maintain the rage, I suppose, and be able to shut Tassie down at those crucial moments. Going forward, Anthony looks dangerous when he gets a bit of a chance, a run at it, and it's going to be a couple of good matchups. That Siggins-Richards matchup is going to be a very crucial one as we move forward.
Brownie, you got some stats there for us you can run us through?
Yeah, well, the leading ball winners, obviously, for the NEAFL at the moment, I mentioned them before. Harper's had 9, Ankus has had 8, Keris has had 8, and Sebastian Tape, the ex-round 1 draftee from the Gold Coast, has had 6. For Tassie, Tom Couch leads the way with 6 possessions, 6 kicks, 5 to Bryce Walsh, 5 to Dylan Fife, and 4 to Jay Bowden and Mitch Carter. Jackson O'Brien's also had 4. So not massive numbers at the moment for Tassie. They would probably want a bit of a lift out of their forwards. Mitch Thorpe just can't quite get into the game on this in the first quarter. They'd love a little bit of run from Jay Lockhart as well. But I thought McGuinness showed some good signs down back, and Siggins also was pretty steady. Enjoying a couple of the matchups too, Mark. In particular, McKenna and Anthony looks a really good one, and also Siggins and Richards are 2 that are going to be pretty pivotal to the outcome of this game, I would think.
You just know that if it gets to a stationary one-on-one contest where the ball's kicked on Jack Anthony's head, that McKenna's going to take the honours, but you know if it's on the run, well, Anthony's going to be every chance to take the contest away and win the ball. As we saw a good mark there from Anthony on the highlights. It's a fascinating contest.
It is.
And it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes in the second quarter.
Any upside, you think, for Mark in terms of the NEAFL and some of the players we haven't seen a lot of so far as we look down the stats?
Look, I think they need to get the ball in the hands of Boston because he just kicks the ball so well. And also just working forward there, I think Swan is going to be an important presence in there because he is 100 kilos, a big-bodied midfielder who's nearly 200 centimetres, and it combats the big bodies of Tasmania in the middle of the ground to help somebody like Keris out who has been digging in there.
Just repeating that quarter-time score here at Blunston Arena. It's the NEAFL 2-1-13 leading Tasmania 1-2-8. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with the second quarter very soon. Welcome back to Blunston Arena. We're about to start the second quarter of the representative match between Tasmania and the NEAFL. I'm joined in the commentary box this afternoon by Mark Kennedy, who's joining us from the NEAFL, and Cam Brown, our special comments man from our TSL weekly live stream. Boys, your thoughts on the opening quarter for those just joining us?
Yeah, look, I enjoyed it. Wasn't a lot in it, and difficult for the forwards. They didn't get a lot of separation and space. And both teams did try to use the corridor on occasions, but they were stifled work by some pretty good defensive work, the way both teams were set up structurally when they didn't have the footy, and some of the tackling was a feature. So apart from really when Hiscock, Mark, had a bit of a run and carry along the wing, we didn't see too many line-breaking opportunities for either side.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see a few more from both sides as this afternoon progresses. Ball back in the middle here, and that's another poor bounce that'll come back in. We build up to the crescendo, boys, and then
they do that to you.
Yeah. So we'll go again.
Tassie starting with Mitch Thorpe deep, and it looks like Tom Couch as well inside that forward 50.
So the ball thrown back up in the air. Michael gets it down. Toy will be the first one to it. He'll wheel around on the left foot, puts it high. Tassie got two on one. It was Bonnie there, just shoving one of the Tassie players out of the way, but they'll win the contest nonetheless. And just eluding him is Fife. Ball goes over the top there with Siggins, and offloaded on that occasion was Couch. He'll get up though, he's tough. Ball to half forward. Nellis comes over the top, impacts the contest, but Tassie will just look to come away with it. Well, they're making a little bit of a mess of it here. Coming through there is Barrett, feeds it back to Keris. Keris has been good in the first quarter, inside forward 50, and Nellis takes the mark. He made good ground, boys, to clutch that one with the two hands.
It was Keris again, wasn't it, just off the stoppage, and just had the presence of mind to whack it on the foot, and some good ground made by Nellis from Aspley, and a lot of Tasmanian players. Mark have gone across from Glenorchy this year to play at Aspley, three former Glenorchy Premiership players.
Come up for the good weather, although it's good here today. And Nellis goes across the face, so extends the margin to 6 points early in the second quarter here at Bluntstone Arena.
So Tasmania get out of defence. Not a lot happening for them. So the ball is roosted right to just outside the centre square, far side of the ground. Ball wrapped up, not going anywhere. So the umpire will come in and ball it up.
Might have thought it was Couch, boys. It was actually Brad Cox-Goodyear who's gone deep for Tasmania. So we know he can kick goals as a small forward for North Launceston. So they're trying to manufacture something up there.
Ball wrapped up again and not going too far. So another ball up, which has been the story of the day. Had a lot of them. Up it goes again. Duffy tapped it down. If we'll get it back though, they go inside 50. It's a wobbly old kick in the end. Didn't go too far. But Tasmania run it out of defence. And Thorpe's on the lead, couldn't take the mark. And dragged down with a footy. Umpire blows the whistle. It's called a throw. So we'll go to Tasmania. And they've got a little bit of a few options here. Ball went over the head of McCulloch. NEAFL player runs onto it, dragged down though, and ball spills out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
You just saw at that first bit of play there, Jay Lockhart just to break through there. He was the player that broke the lines and tried to hit Mitch Thorpe. Just how important he'll be for Tasmania. He's one guy that can break the lines and could be pretty pivotal for them, particularly inside 50 work.
Ball back in, umpire blows the whistle. And it's coming back.
Boundary umpire did throw it back in properly, boys. Have another go.
So Tasmania's attacking end of the ground, kicking towards the David Boone stand end. Ruck work was done there by Michael, and did it all on his own, but again, another boundary throw-in.
So Tasmania certainly looking for repeat inside 50 entries here. They're set up pretty well defensively. They've got a pretty high press. Nick McKenna's the last one back, but all players forward to the centre. Chance
now for Tasmania to score a goal. It goes across the face though, minus score. So that moves them to 1-3-9, the NEAFL 2-2-14.
So with the ball now, that was Martin. Goes to the outer side. One-on-one contest. So Tassie made a contest there. It ends up with Bonnie though. Kicks, it's a nice piece of work there. Finds Reinhardt. Came to meet it beautifully, right between the pecs. Goes down the line, looking for a target, and at the back and clutching it was Nellis. A bit rangy, Nellis, boys. And he moves well. As the outer side, Toy, his teammate, now to Bonnie. Bonnie right on forward 50, kicks up for Jack Anthony, and Anthony's found a bit of space. And he's a sharp shooter, boys. You'd expect he might come around and wheel around with the left.
He's always been a good kick at AFL level, particularly his time at Collingwood. But love the presence of mind there, Mark, of Bonnie, not to just blaze away. Lowered his eyes and spotted up Anthony, and he'll have an opportunity here to potentially give the NEAFL a 2-goal margin.
Looks like he might be going with the check side or the banana, depending upon where you're from, and he liked it off the boot. Extends the lead for the NEAFL. They move to 3-2-20. Tasmania 1-3-9. And it was a good piece of play set up. And Ryan Hart, boys, just come to meet it and really sort of set the tone.
Yeah, and really good effort from the NEAFL. They just forced it forward. They had a bit of space in their forward line, and need a response now from Tasmania, Brent. Only early stages, but 11-point margin. You're right, 3 unanswered goals, but as we mentioned there, really smart kick, and Jack Anthony, with all his experiences, Mark called it a really good kick of the footy and the banana, and it's an 11-point ball game.
Ball smashed back down in the centre of the ground. Duffy was there, but picked out there by Kerris again, who's been a very good player this afternoon so far for the NEAFL. Ball scooped up, it's dragged down. Umpire let it go. Oh, it's a free kick, so Tasmania will get the free kick in the back pocket here at Blunston Arena, members end. Ball goes over the top. Couch couldn't take the mark, but he's paid it anyway.
Jordan Kerris, 4 clearances for the game already. He's been very busy.
Just wonder how long before Tassie might have to put a shutdown roll on him, whether they'll back their own midfielders in. Maybe O'Brien will get a run with him at some stage.
Here's McCulloch, centres the footy. And now Couch again, who's been very busy for the map. He kicks it beautifully inside 50 to his teammate Cox Goodyear. Couldn't take the mark. Ends up in the hands of the NEAFL again. They run down the wing here in the commentary side, on the commentary side of the ground. Mark taken on the chest there by Richards.
Good kick.
Moves it forward. And now with some time and space is Nellis and McKenna, though. Couldn't hang on to it. Anthony still keeps the ball alive, gets the kick off the ground, but out of bounds for another boundary throw-in.
Yeah, the kick from Nellis didn't quite favour the play on that occasion, Mark. I wasn't sure who it was in the one out there. It might have even been Jack Anthony, was it? With,
yeah, it was.
Nick McKenna, but he just wanted the ball a little bit longer.
Look, and just said before that Nellis, he's a good hit-up half forward, but he's taller than you think, and he's got good mobility. He might be a handful this afternoon. So ball back in, Barrett lays a tackle for the NEAFL, and plenty of players around the contest. You could throw a hanky over about 15 of them in there.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be a difficult matchup, Nellis. Pretty good in the air and pretty good below his knees by the look of it.
Well on there by Duffy. Get that right at some stage this afternoon. Swan's in there. Bit of a fresh air shot coming from the Tassie boys. Comes out by Lockhart, does it well. A punt from Parenhay. There's Bartoli Simmons on hands and knees, gets a handball up. That's a trip. Should go the way of Tasmania, and that's Mott who has the footy. So he quickly goes to the middle of the ground, and they'll get a bit of a run here. Controlling, there was Bowden, one-on-one contest. And I was going to say well done there by Burt, but just doing enough there was Cooper. Lays a tackle, Burt, but managed to get a handball away. And NEAFL will come away. On that occasion, it's Hebron, and they're away here. This is Swan. So the run and carry of the NEAFL might be coming through the ground over the top of Richards. So Tasmania might be able to clean it up, and that might be Lockhart with the footy.
It certainly was. The map drive it forward. Mitch Thorpe does okay, but Grouse is there as well for the NEAFL. They go backwards. Thorpe still chasing hard. Grouse again. Went over the top of the footy. In the end, it's wrapped up. So they'll love a goal here, Tasmania. As we said, the NEAFL have kicked 3 unanswered as we approach the 10-minute mark of this second quarter.
Just some signs the game is opening up a little bit. A couple of times both teams have had some opportunities with a bit of time and space.
Couch wrapped up with the footy. And it's sent over the boundary line by Sam Martin, Canberra Demons player, of course.
Tasmania will be a little bit disappointed with that last inside 50 entry when Burt was one out. They would have had a great opportunity almost to score there. They had some space inside 50, but some really good defending from the NEAFL again.
So holding firm in defence at the moment. Tasmania threatened, I think, as the game might open up. Here's the big man in Swan. Now to Harper. Martin. Got it under pressure now. He managed to get the handball away. Back to Martin. Over the top to Toy. Toy's got a little bit of room to move, so he looks and goes with a handball as well. So they're happy to share it around and ends up with Anchors. Anchors over the top. Anthony down to meet it. Good set of mitts from half forward. He's got Boston over the top, his Southport teammate. He'll turn. Usually good with the footy. This goes around the corner. Andrew Boston. Welcome to Bloodstone Arena.
That was extraordinary. Let's have a look at the replay. That is one of the best goals I've seen in a long time, Cam Brown.
Well, you don't see many there, and on his wrong side, I think, too. Pretty sure he's a right footer, but gee, as you called it, brilliantly called, Mark, and fantastic mark. You said also at quarter time just how dangerous Jack Anthony can be on the lead, and he had that separation from Nick McKenna. That's when he looks like getting the footy. McKenna's probably got him covered when it's a one-on-one duel in the air, but he just had the presence of mind to turn quickly, saw Boston running into space and manufactured something out of nothing. And dangerous signs now for Tassie, 17-point lead.
Yeah, 17 points, so that's 4 unanswered goals now. Tasmania with the first of the match and have not kicked one since. Another bad bounce there in the middle of Blunston Arena.
Cheeky data keeping statistics on how many bad bounces the umpires are making.
They've been
good otherwise.
Exactly right. That was some goal from Boston a few moments ago. As we go again, Cox Goodyear, high ball. Goes just outside the centre square. Mark taken now by Joseph, former Glenorchy Premiership player, of course, in the TSL. NEAFL will go forward again. Ball goes through the hands of Lockhart. Still with Tasmania though. Picked out by the NEAFL, wrapped up. Got the handball away. Lockhart again. And the ball goes to the wing now. And all on its own. And it goes, it's still alive actually. But no, it's not. It's gone out of bounds for another boundary throw-in.
Just wonder whether or not you put Jay Bowden inside 50. Brent, we've just seen him play so much footy, and he's so dangerous in that when he's got some time and space in the forward line. He's already up to 6 possessions, but I think he can be more damaging, certainly when Tassie is struggling to score. So maybe it's time to push him forward.
So leading goal kicker in the TSL as well, Bowden, isn't he? I believe.
Correct.
33
right
goals. So NEAFL will win it. They'll win the free kick. That was too high. So getting up a little gingerly, although play-on's called. Play the advantage. Tassie might win it back here, but no. Tate stays over the top of it here. Flips the handball out to Barrett. And there's cries of throws. Duffy gets it out there. Now they'll come away. Walsh can't handle it though. There's Bryce Walsh. And there's Harper, Kerris, and now to Bonnie. So a little bit of space and time here. Bonnie takes a bounce. He'll go long. Anthony will come to it. He's got 2 to beat. Goes high.
Wow.
A bit of a highlight reel. Evolving for the NEAFL here. The Boston goal. The Anthony mark. He can go back and shoot for his second.
It was a great kick again, Mark, from Bonnie. He just pulled it across and gave Jack Anthony the opportunity to run, and not sure. He got some separation from Nick McKenna and got a leap. I wasn't sure the Tasmanian player there who he managed to get the sit on, and he's looking dangerous, isn't he?
He certainly is.
So Anthony comes in from directly in front and he makes a meal of it.
That's a let-off.
Disappointing when they take those great marks and miss like that, Brownie.
A couple of great highlights in this quarter today for the NEAFL,
Wow,
with Jack Anthony involved in an assist to Andrew Boston, and then a terrific mark there. But gee, needed to convert.
Mitch Carter, who's been in great form for the Tigers in the TSL, kicks it. Here's Bowden, 3-time league best and fairest here in Tasmania. Superstar of the game. Very unlucky not to be drafted. Here's Walsh, now Couch. Here's North Launceston coach. Sold the candy couch on a couple of occasions there. He kicks to space, but there's no one there in the map. Ends up now with Grouse.
Good tackle.
Good tackle, but still in the hands of the NEAFL. Barton.
Been pretty composed down back, Mark, for, as you said in the early on in the call, an inexperienced NEAFL side, but I've been really impressed with their composure down there.
Michael takes the mark. Decides to hold the footy up, goes short now, finds his teammate, and now some run from James Nellis. Goes to the top of the square, chance for the NEAFL again. Wheeling around now is Richards. Centres the footy, but unfortunately on this occasion it goes straight to Mitch Carter from Tasmania. And he goes quickly forward to O'Brien. Knows this ground really well, as we said earlier. To Blackberry. Missed him completely. And now the NEAFL again.
So the NEAFL, they just waste the ball. And they'll bring it back out, Tassie. This is Walsh, Mark Walsh. Goes laterally. Just move the ball forward. And it's now on the outer wing. Called a play on. So Blackberry gets around Barton, goes on the left. Scrubby looking kick. Mopping it up there was Barron Hay. Not a good handball though. Cooper just taps it towards Keris. The umpire will say that's out of bounds. So a little bit of scrubby play from both sides, boys.
Yeah, particularly from Tasmania's perspective, mate. They just can't get any quality ball inside 50. It's always a rushed entry, and NEAFL have been able to sweep it pretty well in the first part of this quarter.
Michael tap down, margin here, 3 goals. 15 minutes gone in this quarter, second quarter of course, in this representative game. Tasmania and the NEAFL, watching it live right around the world. And the NEAFL now out of defence. Mark taken there by Richards.
He's just starting to work his way into the game. Had a pretty quiet first quarter, boys, but has looked a lot better.
Ball goes over the top. Mark couldn't be taken, and now a chance for some run, but he's held up there, the NEAFL player, and McKenna. Wasn't his best handball, and he's back up in the hands of the visitors. Now Michael takes the mark right on the paint of 50, goes forward, and the mark taken now for the NEAFL, and they'll go back and try and kick their 5th of the game. And the mark has been taken by Damien Bonney, averaging 20 possessions, 2 goals a game. Loves a goal too, doesn't he, Mark?
Yeah, almost as much as he loves a good chat, a bit of banter with the opposition. It's been a good talking point in amongst the NEAFL boys, saying how much they relish playing with him instead of against him.
So Damien Bonney lines up directly in front and makes no mistake. The NEAFL get their 5th goal of the game, and that lead is starting to blow out now. It is 24 points at the 16.5-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, worrying signs for Tasmania, but there's a difference for mine between the two teams, boys. The NEAFL just a lot cleaner, and some of their entries inside 50, just getting their heads up, lowering their eyes, they're able to hit targets. Tasmania just can't get a mark inside the forward 50. Apart from early doors when McCulloch took that mark, it's been a really hard slog. Just wonder how long Tassie can afford to leave Jordan Harper. I think he's up to about 17 possessions at the moment now. So
they're away again. Here's Tate. Got it down. Nice tap out from Michael. Inside forward 50 again. This was a good punch there by McKenna. And they'll bring it outside defensive 50, although it comes back in with a good spoil. Now coming away with it was Mott. Now there is Webb. Goes to the outer side. Walsh is there. Just a kick, didn't quite find him on the full, and just those little things, those little kicks out of defence have got to be spot on just to control the football.
Just as we say that, boys, Jay Bowden is moved inside the 50, so I like that move from Anthony Taylor. Tasmania need to get a score here.
So Barton matching him up. They go again. Nellis. Tasmania might win the footy here, and they do. They're away quickly. They go inside forward 50, looking for that man we talked about. On that occasion, Barton got the fist away. Standard, Blackberry, little kick forward. It's all NEAFL though, they might mop it up. Coming through on that occasion, that was Joseph. Well, they gave it to a man under pressure. Webb's there, kicks it over the top. It gets the distance, but not the accuracy.
So
Yeah, he did have a player free and standing on that occasion too.
So the NEAFL now out of defence. They've really turned the notch up here in the second quarter. There's no doubt about that. A couple of real big highlights. None bigger than the Boston goal. Absolutely enormous. They've got the footy again. O'Brien wraps up his opponent in a tackle. Strong tackle. Umpire will ball it up. The approach time on.
NEAFL starting to hurt Tassie boys on that outlet kick, and some of the high half forwards are taking some marks up on the logos, as we say, up on the wings, and they're starting to do some damage.
The ball back inside 50 for Anchors.
Reinhardt with the ball, boys.
Goes short inside, good strong mark taken there. Crashing the pack, and umpire's blowing the whistle. Play it down. As we see Nellis go back now. and have a shot on goal.
It's one thing about Anchor's too, Mark. He looks at a real accumulator of the footy. Been really impressed with the first quarter and a half from him today.
Yeah, he's the only representative from the NT Thunder, and they've got a fantastic side generally, but he's a live wire. He doesn't look much, but he just gets the job done.
So Nellis hits the post, the right-hand post, and that's a let-off for Tasmania. They really need a goal here, the map. There's no doubt about that as they bring the ball back into play. It's Jay Foon. Really good player for North Launceston. Drives it to the wing. Duffy at the back, couldn't take the mark. Walsh is dragged down with the footy. Stacks on, umpire will ball it up. So the margin is 24 points, NEAFL's advantage.
Half-forward flank, commentary side of the ground here at Blundstone Arena. Not a cloud in the sky here. Beautiful day in Tasmania. NEAFL liking it at the moment, and Tasmania really need to hit back. Plenty of players around the contest. Toy's there, he gets it back again. Keris, the machine. I think we might give him a new nickname. Goes to right the forward 50. Unable just to win it cleanly, Tasmania here. Now they might get a chance at it. It's Cox Goodyear. Gives it out, chain of handballs. They're looking on that occasion. Well done by Couch. But hard work there by Barrett, keeping the ball in the area. Plenty of players around the contest. It's very willing in there. And the umpire will ball it up inside the centre square.
So Brownie, Tasmania well under the pump here now. 24-point margin.
Yeah, been a long time since they've scored a goal too, Brent.
Ball inside 50 again for the NEAFL, but scooping it up is Lockhart for Tasmania. He plays on quickly, finds his teammate in Sam Siggins, who rushed his kick and it slanted in the hands of Martin for the NEAFL. Wants to centre the ball, Martin. He does just that. Plays on quickly though, the NEAFL player in Reinhardt. Back in now, dangerous territory for the NEAFL. Tasmania's attacking 50. And the umpire's blown his whistle, holding the ball's paid and advantage. And it's a goal for Tasmania.
Yeah,
So
Trent Stanton.
the drought is finally broken for the map, and Trent Stanton gets Tasmania's second goal. They move to 2-4-16, the NEAFL 5-4-34.
Well, it's probably created from a turnover, Mark. I wasn't sure of the NEAFL player that just tried to square the kick across at centre-half back there. And good defensive pressure by Jay Bowden. Won the free kick for holding the ball. And Trent Stanton, we know he's really dangerous with those snaps inside 50. And he made no mistake on that occasion.
I didn't quite pick up who that NEAFL player was, but he kicked backwards. And it came a result of him receiving the ball, which didn't go the required distance for a mark. And you just can't give those easy opportunities because we know Tassie will keep coming all day. Trying to come through there was Swan, but now Tasmania try to come the other way, and there's the machine just laying a tackle on this occasion.
Oh, that's harsh.
That is harsh. He wins the ball. I put the glasses down to assume it was going to be a baller. Goes quickly, does Keris. Inside forward 50. Just ball bounces. Who's going to get there first? Here's Barrett. Feeds the ball up. Richards gets a little handball away. Illegally, says the umpire. And Tasmania will play on getting the handball away. There was Webb, and they are away, and it goes to the outer side. It might be Cox Goodyear with the footy.
And this is where they most look likely. Again, it was in the hands of Jay Lockhart on that outward kick.
They've seemed to lift the map in the last couple of minutes, that's for sure. Ball inside 50 again. Zach Bird is lurking, couldn't take the mark. Bowden, ball spilled off his chance to the NEAFL, get it out of danger. They go to the wing. Here he is again, the machine, and he's been dubbed by Mark Kennedy. Plays on quickly. And now the NEAFL again inside 50. So we might go to you for the inside 50 soon, Cam Brown, on the champion data stats. But the ball. No, you don't have those, Brownie. I'll put you under the pump there. Throwing you completely under the bus.
I'll throw him there. That's 23-18 going the NEAFL's way at the moment.
Seems a lot more than that. There you go. So 2-4-16, 5-4-34 is a much needed goal for Tasmania. A few moments ago through Trent Stanton. I'd love another here before half time. 23 minutes, almost 24 minutes gone in this second quarter. Here's Lockhart. He sells some can. He goes and walks around his opponents. Gets the ball right in front of us here on the commentary wing. Mott's chasing his player hard, but Hiscox does well. Goes short, finds a target. And now Xavier Richards goes inside 50. Lockhart again, though, who's lifted himself in the last few minutes. He's really come into this game. Here he is, the skipper in Braden Webb. Goes forward. Burt couldn't take the mark. But now Couch, who's been so busy for Tasmania this afternoon, finds Jay Bowden, hits him on the chest, and Tasmania will now go back. And Jay, will he have a shot here, Brownie?
Oh, definitely have a shot. He's definitely got the distance in him. He's such a beautiful kick. But that was one of the rare occasions we've seen a Tasmanian player, and it was all the experience, AFL experience and VFL experience as well, for that matter, from Tom Couch, who were able to just have the presence of mind and lower his eyes, not blaze away, and found Jay Bowden on the lead. And this becomes a really important kick now for Tasmania, Mark.
He's a 3-time league best and fairest here in Tasmania, Jay Bowden, and that is why. Oh, I called it too early. It was a point.
Just did it
from this angle.
Yeah, did some work late. I'm really loving the work of Jay Lockhart's last 10 or 15 minutes, boys. He's a pivotal player for Tasmania, and he's been among their best today, but they just look very likely when the ball's in his hands.
So Gross goes long down the middle of the ground. Swan takes the mark. Here's the running machine in Harper. The kick on that occasion was chopped off nicely by Arnold, so Tasmania win the ball back. Right on the outer wing. Goes in board as the siren sounds. And that kick by Jay Bowden would have brought the margin back to 2 straight goals and set at 17 points. Interesting first half of football, boys. And the thing that I notice is just that last 5 minutes, it's whether it's a combination of a couple little errors from the NEAFL, but Tasmania also lifting, going to make this a fascinating second half.
You could definitely tell they lifted their Brownie, couldn't you? Tasmania in those last 5 or so minutes, they certainly worked themselves back in the game. That would have been a really handy goal that Jay Bowden just missed. It would have reduced the margin, Mark, as you said, to just 11 points. So instead, Tasmania go in 17 points down as we take a look at some of the highlights from that second quarter. And can't wait to see this goal again from Andrew Boston, which he called so beautifully well, Mark. But and that big mark too from Jack Anthony was another highlight, Cam.
Yeah, look, and love the work of Jack Anthony, in particular the first part of that quarter. But you're right, Tasmania just in the last 5 minutes looked a little bit more likely with the ball in hand, but they would have loved that kick from Jay Bowden, as we mentioned. But some really good work, some really good smart inside ball use from the NEAFL in the first part of that quarter in particular. And Jack Anthony, as we mentioned, really liked the work of Bonnie, who didn't panic on a few occasions and had some really nice goal assists. And the goal of Boston was really good too. So look, it's going to be an interesting one for Tasmania now. A 17-point lead is pretty handy for the NEAFL, but certainly some upside for Tasmania. But NEAFL just probably hurting the Tassie boys on that outward kick from the back 50.
Just might get your thoughts. One observation I probably have about the Tasmanian midfielders is that they're all the same, a lot of the same type of midfielders through there. Where you see the NEAFL guys, there's a couple of rangy types like obviously Swan and Tape, and they're complemented by the likes of Keris and then Harper and Bonnie and Anchors going through there. So they've got some different facets to them as opposed to possibly what maybe Tasmania bring at this point in time. No,
it's a really good observation, Mark. And look, we're used to Tasmanian state teams, aren't we, Brent, being really hard at the footy, and in particular the work of inside midfielders, and case in point too. So if you look at, I guess, Couch and Webb, who's starting to work his way into the game, but O'Brien's another hard nut. Bryce Walsh, Mark Walsh, both pretty heavily over the body, but what they do lack is probably a line breaker midfielder there. So, you know, whether or not you rob Peter to pay Paul to probably put Jay Lockhart on there, maybe Foon could roll up. They do have some players, but then do you lose that run and carry from half back? Because I thought Lockhart in the latter part of that second quarter was really good for Tassie. So they're just going to have to manufacture some things up forward, and they didn't have a lot of great forward inside 50 entries. It was only in the back half that they looked likely. So again, it's whether or not you throw Couch forward. We know he can kick a goal, but at the moment the NEAFL will probably have all the answers, and in particular some of their players on the lead I thought were just starting to mark the footy overhead. Really like the work of Harper. I think he's up to 22 possessions, boys, which has been an outstanding first half for him. And Keras and Anchors we've mentioned, and Bonnie. Tape started to work his way into the game too in that quarter, boys, but the NEAFL just look a little bit more likely at the moment, and 2 goals to Andrew Boston has been a pretty good contribution out of 5 goals for the NEAFL in particular.
Just repeating the halftime score here at Blunston Arena in the 2017 representative match. It's Tasmania 2-5-17, trailing the NEAFL 5-4-34. We'll take a short break and come back with the second half very soon. Welcome back to Blunston Arena. Third quarter action not too far away, and we see the NEAFL 5-4-34 leaders over Tasmania 2-5-17. A few shadows across the ground now here at Bell Reef. Bit of sunshine towards the David Boone stand, and a lot of people having kick to kick at half time. And joining me in the commentary box, as they did for the first half, from the NEAFL, Mark Kennedy, and Tasmanian State League guru Cameron Brown. Gentlemen, what did we think of the first half?
Yeah, look, I enjoyed it, boys, and in particular the second part of that quarter, the game started to open up, and both teams looked a little bit more likely to score, and Tasmania, that'll be their challenge in the second half. But we were just talking off air. For mine, NEAFL look a little bit more dangerous when the ball gets on the outside, and they can have some of that run and carry and overlap, where Tassie, it becomes, I guess, because of the body shape and because of the way their team's been picked, I think it's more of an inside game for them. And if they can get it on their terms, then that's the most likely way for them to probably score and get back into this contest, because I think NEAFL are just going to be a little bit better on the spread. They also looked a little bit more lively with some of their targets, particularly up on the wings. They were able to lead and get some separation, and then just had some really smart inside 50 entries where they got a couple of goals in the early part of that second quarter. The last 5 minutes for Tassie was probably the best they played, though, Mark, I would have thought. And they did get a goal from a Jay Bowden run-down tackle, and Standen kicked a really smart left foot snap, and then Jay Bowden also had an opportunity himself, which would have brought the margin a little bit closer at half time. So really interested to see how the second half pans out.
Well, that contested footy is going to be an interesting thing in this second half, isn't it? I mean, that's the real strength of Tasmania, and that's what they're going to have to really bring to get the ball moving their way, and those quick hands, and get it from the contest and put it to the likes of Thorpe and Burt down forward, and we'll see if where Bowden ends up. And for the NEAFL, as you said, getting it out wide and into the hands of the Harpers, also the Hiscocks, and these guys that are those real run carriers, and those other midfielders like the Kerrises, and working through. So it's going to be very interesting. And, you know, Anthony's going to be an important one in terms of keeping the scoring moving, I think, for the NEAFL. And those hit-up targets, as you spoke about, those, so Richards and Nellis particularly, those two that really need to keep that momentum for the NEAFL going.
No, definitely. And I think Tasmania, they'll look like they're going to start a little bit differently in the second half, Mark, up forward. I just see Mitch Thorpe making his way to the bench, so they'll probably go a little bit smaller.
So just one stat I'd like to bring up here is contested possessions. So contested possessions actually going the NEAFL's way, 73-54. So that's something that Tassie are really going to have to right the ship with to get the scoreboard moving their way, I think.
All right, not too far away from the opening bounce here of the third quarter. Boys, do we all agree the NEAFL win from here?
I think it's going to be pretty hard for Tasmania, but I wouldn't write them off. We know they'll fight pretty hard, Tasmanian teams do, whether or not NEAFL might just have a little bit more class on the outside. Just as we mentioned, Jay Bowden does go forward as Tasmania go a little bit smaller as we start the second half.
And I'm very wary about what Tasmania can bring in a short space of time as we get underway. Now towards a man we think needs to have a lot more involvement, and that's Lockhart. He's been good. Probably got one high, but held onto the ball, got up again. He ducks under one again, and then has his kick smothered. It goes out of bounds. So between Tape and Hiscocks, they've managed to tie it up there on the outer wing.
We spoke earlier, Cam, about how many AFL recruiters may be here today. They'd be having a real good look at Jay Lockhart, wouldn't they? Yeah,
he'd be the one for mine, Brent, and he's got some AFL attributes, I would have thought. So we've already seen a number of AFL clubs down in front of us. A lot of their pro scouts are here this afternoon.
So Toy gets the ball inside forward 50, and Barrett takes a good contested mark. Just protected the drop zone wonderfully there, and Jay Foon was the man that posed to him.
No, you called it beautifully, Mark. It was, just that ability, the ball, and just to guard that space, and made it really difficult for Jay Foon to come around and spoil. Terrific mark.
So Barrett comes in from just inside 50, doesn't make the distance, and just knocked out of bounds by the Tasmanian defence.
So the wind, a little bit breezy here at Blunston Arena, as we said. Half the ground in shadow, half the ground in sunshine. Beautiful day though for footy here. Blue skies in Hobart as the ball comes back in. Michael bouncing towards the goal line, couldn't get it. Ball still alive, and unfortunately over the boundary throw in again.
good point of difference between Michael and Duffy, boys. Just that bigger body of Michael against the athletic Duffy.
He's been in great form, Cam Duffy, for Glenorchy this year, the reigning premiers here in Tasmania. Ball wrapped up, not going too far. Another ball up. So Tasmania really started to work their way back in to the game late in that second quarter. I'd love to start this one just as well. Arnold dragged down with the footy. And the ball up.
Yeah, the first goal is pretty important in the context of this game. If the NEAFL can get it, they're almost out to a 4-goal lead, and then Tassie would have kicked the last 2 if they can get the first one in the third quarter. So all to play out here is just similar to the way the first quarter started here, wasn't it? With lots of stoppages and difficult for teams to get a breakthrough and some run and carry.
Up it goes again. Michael wins the advantage for the NEAFL. Ball to ground. And bounds again. So
it's a real stalemate, isn't it? And,
yeah.
and recruiters, you know, they love guys who can just stay in the contest, that contested position. Then when it opens up, then really deliver with efficiency and poise.
It's the voice of Mark Kennedy, who joins us from the NEAFL today for the live stream. Great to have Mark here in Hobart. Cam Brown, special comments. So 3 minutes gone. Very slow start to this third quarter.
The ball go up again. Michael, almost a bit of a stalemate. Just a bit of a high five with the ball in the middle there. Getting the ball out that occasion was Carter. Good contested mark on that occasion by Hebron. Gets it back from where it came. Barrett almost could have got one. Now Bonnie has been good with the ball today. Puts it to the top of the square. McKenna does well on that occasion. Was touched, I believe, off the boot. So the ball was rushed over the boundary, over the behind, or the goal line for a behind. Tassie bring it back in quickly. Punch from Cooper. Now it ends up with Bonnie again, who got it from Boston. The kick wasn't that good this time, and Tassie can come away with it. Merging with the ball there is Webb, so on defensive 50, goes out wide. Bowden is the target. Gross is there with him. Experienced defender. Gross did well. Punch it to the advantage of Barton. Barton inside to Hiscox. Generally shows a clean pair of heels and showed a good set of laces on the boot. He gets it to Richards, goes to true centre half forward. Good defensive spoil by Tasmania. They'll try and get it out. The pressure keeps coming from the NEAFL. That's Tate who applies on that occasion. They tie the ball up inside forward 50 yet again. I was going to say, I thought it was a ball up, but Lockhart comes through, and McKenna will be happy to take it out of bounds now, though.
Well called, Mark. Once again, Tasmania just can't find any room with the footy at this particular stage, and the NEAFL's pressure for the first 3 or 4 minutes of this quarter has been first class.
First goal, so important in this third quarter as the ball comes back in from the boundary throw-in. Chance for the NEAFL, high handball. Oh, dragged down there was Boston, who kicked that amazing goal in the first quarter. Free kick going the way of Tasmania. Jordan Arnold, who was a league rising star here a few years ago for Glenorchy. Really good player. Ball goes wide. Mark couldn't be taken. Ends up in the hands of Josh McGuinness, the former Brisbane Lions listed player. As we said earlier, would know a lot of these players so well. Jackson O'Brien, ball couldn't go to him. Michael dragged down without the footy. And ball goes nowhere. Another ball up.
Cam, who are you looking for a lift from in the Tasmanian side? He's going to really spark something from them.
Yeah, a good question. I think they'd like a little bit more out of Taylor Whitford. He's one that can use the ball pretty well. The other player that's been used really sparingly is Jay Blackerby. We know he's really damaging by foot, but as we look down, Whitford's only had the 5 touches, so they'd like a little bit more from them. Even Fife is a dangerous player, a small player who can provide some run and carry. So some of those link men in particular, I think Tassie need a lift from.
Lockhart was in there busy for Tasmania, but now the NEAFL again, crashing through packs. Whitford got the handball there, Cam. You mentioned him a moment ago. Lockhart, who was lifting late in that second quarter. Here's Bryce Walsh, the late inclusion this afternoon. Bowden, inside 50. Mark couldn't be taken by Cox Goodyear. And wrapped up now, just inside 50. Tasmania's attacking into the ground here at Blunston Arena.
Cox Goodyear and Stannon are very dangerous as small forwards, Mark. So if they can get some time and space, particularly Stannon, because he's so dangerous and very quick over that first 5 or 10 metres.
So Reinhardt got it down to Toy, who had his kick smothered. Now Martin, he had his kick smothered as well. The ball's tied up underneath a couple of players. And they'll get back up again.
Just looks like Jay Lockhart is a loose man in defence at the moment for Tasmania. And the NEAFL happy to roll an extra one up at the stoppage.
On there by Duffy, got the hit out down, but goes nowhere. So the ball stuck again. Umpire crosses his arms and says, give it to me. I'll throw it up, boys. Let's try and move it around. The wide expanses of Bloodstone Arena. Duffy gets it out. Here running onto his Walsh. Couldn't take it cleanly. Boston put a saddle on him. That's a free kick, surely.
Wow.
And he'll take it. So it was obvious.
It was indeed. So Bryce Walsh, Lauderdale player here in the TSL, will go back and have a shot on goal, and an important kick here for Tasmania, lining up for their third goal. And this would reduce the margin to just 13 points. So Bryce Walsh, who replaced Zach Webster in the starting 23 this afternoon. Really good player for Lauderdale, as I just mentioned a few moments ago. He's been in good form. He'll line up and kick from about 40 metres out. The kick is okay off the boot, and it's a goal. So Tasmania peg one back. That's their third of the game. They move to 3-5-23. The NEAFL 5-5-35. The margin now just 12 points, boys.
Yeah, well, he's always been a goal kicker as a midfielder, so wins a lot of the footy, but can also push forward and get a goal. And it was just an untoward tackle on that occasion, and Bryce Walsh, a good finish for Tasmania, so gets it back to a 2-goal margin and kicked the last 2 goals of the game. And from a Tasmanian perspective, they need to push forward here and keep putting pressure on that NEAFL defence.
Testing out the sticky surface, the pitch there in the middle before he's about to whack it down there to get us underway again. Sets himself now. And that's a beauty. Reinhardt and Duffy. Reinhardt taps it to the advantage of Keris. Well tackled there by the goal kicker in Walsh. Reinhardt with a little bit of the Pele stuff. The back heel. Fife. Trying to handball. Siggins. Not sure where to go. They might get out of it though. Here's Fife. Under pressure now. Good pressure from NEAFL. Reinhardt. He's tackled by Fife. Umpire says play on. And Richards lays a heavy tackle and will tie it up there. So pressure around the contest, boys.
Crowd's starting to get them involved from a Tasmanian perspective. They've lifted. We mentioned Dylan Fife, and got his hands on the football a couple of occasions as a player to lift.
So Anchors gets the ball out of the contest, wins it, and the one-handed mark there by Siggins saves the day for Tasmania in the back 50.
Sam Siggins, the former Adelaide Crow, drives it to the wing, punched away by Daniel Joseph, the Northie Premiership player.
He did go down the line on that occasion, Sam Siggins, but he did have Tom Couch, didn't see him, who'd made position for him for that kick up in the middle of the ground that can be so dangerous when you're trying to transition the ball out of your defensive 50, but unfortunately didn't spot him.
All saying it's time to come back out of the crowd here. As you mentioned, Brownie, they're starting to get involved here, the home supporters, which is what the map needs to get back in this game. They've cut the margin back to just 2 goals, which sets up for an exciting quarter and a half ahead. 10 minutes gone here now in the third quarter. So the ball up will occur right in front of us here on the commentary side of the ground. McCulloch went early. The NEAFL will get the kick away. It was through Seb Tate. Goes right inside the attacking 50 for the NEAFL. And here's a chance for a goal. And it's a beauty from Andrew Boston, the former Gold Coast Sun.
Yeah, that's his third, boys. And look, in a low-scoring game, when the NEAFL have only kicked 6 goals, I think he's got a goal in every quarter. And he just got some separation from his opponent there and was just able to run in. I think it was a clever knock-on. And he's not going to miss a player of his quality. He's always been a goal kicker. And even at his short time at AFL level, Mark, he was able to get on the scoreboard on occasions as well at the elite level. But he's a player that Tassie going to have to shut down. As I mentioned, 3 goals out of 6 is a really handy contribution.
Quite amazing that Andrew Boston voluntarily pulled the pin on his AFL career. Just said he wasn't cut out for professional football at that level, but you just see that he has attributes that still measure up to a very high standard of football as we get underway again. Keris is in amongst it again, laying tackles. In and under. And in and under there also. Fife, that one. Getting up. I'll pick that up in just a moment. In fact, it's Whitfield. Umpire will ball it up again. Michael just holds player off. I'm not calling Sam Michael because he's a man with 2 first names. Batali Simmons, he's got 2 second names. Gets it to Hiscock. And he goes out towards Anthony. McKenna's right there with him, knocks it towards the boundary line. Good stalemate on that occasion.
Still looked dangerous on the spread for mine, the NEAFL. It was actually on that occasion that it was Fife and Couch, 2 Tasmanian players that collected each other, a bit of friendly fire, which caused the breakout ball, which the NEAFL ran onto, and another foray inside 50 for them.
Here it comes again. The man that has it is Keris, who was so lively in that first half of the NEAFL. Really good player. Ball hasn't gone too far. We'll have another ball up. McCulloch doing the ruck duties for Tasmania. Michael for the NEAFL. Michael wins on that occasion. Keris is pushed down. And the ball not going anywhere. So it's far from being a thoroughly entertaining spectacle, boys. Has a very stop-starty throughout the game. Michael went to her there. McCulloch gets the advantage. But again, another ball up.
A little bit of angst there by Bart McCulloch on Sam Michael. I think they might have been at the lines at the same time.
Certainly.
They go again. Michael with the advantage. Trying to spin his way out of trouble there was Whitford. Ball eventually comes out. It's Couch. Now to Fife on the left foot. Going down towards Burt. In fact, it was Cox Goodyear. And the ball's just nicely run over the line. Burt just takes a little bit of a tumble. Somewhat on purpose, I think. Just trying to win something for the map. Ball's thrown in again. Well done by Duffy. Tate does well, wins the contest, gets his hands free. Batali Simmons goes down the line. 2-on-1 contest. Richards had to beat a couple. Siggins and also Lockhart. Richards butters up, goes off the ground. He'll get it again here almost, I think. He keeps his feet, so does well. Tries to feed a handball back. Toy's there, he feeds it backwards, only to the Tasmanian player who's ripped off the football. Probably should have won a free kick. They'll come away with it, will they? No, Siggins is dispossessed. There's Nellis, running hard, just gets it around the corner. Bonnie will come to meet it. Right there with him is Whitford, and you'd think that that's no prior opportunity, and the umpire will ball it up.
So we're almost 15 minutes gone here, and Tasmania clawed their way back with the NEAFL scoring that goal through Andrew Boston. So to lead back out to 3 goals. Tassie would love another one very soon, but it's with the NEAFL now. They're going to go a goal again through Bonnie. He goes to the square, and cleverly from Jack Anthony, unfortunately wasn't a goal, and Tasmania win it out. They run onto the footy. Well done there by Tasmania through Foon. They go backwards again. Lockhart, who was busy late in that second quarter, goes to the wing, hugs the boundary, and out of bounds boundary throw in.
Yeah, Jackson O'Brien, boys, from a Tasmanian perspective, just the 7 possessions at this stage. So he certainly liked to work his way into the game in the second half after a pretty busy start.
So the replay there, almost that little toe poke goal from Jack Anthony. Wasn't to be. We're back out in the far wing here. Leaf will have it. Harper. Move it forward again. Punched away there by Mark Walsh though for Tasmania. He gets the footy back. He goes up the wing. The one-on-one contest. Burt's there lurking. Thorpe has the football on the ground. It's tied up. And another ball up.
He's one player from a Tasmanian's perspective as well. Mark Walsh hasn't had a lot of the footy, just the 5 touches to this stage of the game, but he's a brilliant kick of the footy. So Tasmania need the ball in his hands because it's going to be very penetrating by foot.
Here's Joseph. Tasmanian, of course, ends up with McGuinness, though. He runs through the middle here at Blunston Arena. Mark can be taken by Jay Blackberry. But he's taken high and he'll get the free kick. The Launceston blue. Kick was a dangerous one. Ends up on the ground. Walsh is in there with the footy. Tied up, though.
They're obviously trying to play through the corridor, and on that occasion, Jay Blackberry just tried to hit Couch up, but lucky for Tasmania there wasn't a turnover because it was a potential really good interception from the NEAFL.
Well done by Duffy, but Walsh just gave it straight to Jordan Harper. Inside forward 50, goes to the back of the contest, and Lockhart does very well. We know he's playing loose in defence, but you've got to get in the right spot still.
Yeah, he's been terrific. I would have thought he had, in particular, in the last 2 quarters.
He's out wide. Michael just kills it. Punched it over the boundary line from big Cameron Duffy, a boy from Glenorchy. So the lead, 18 points in favour of the NEAFL. Go again. Duffy, first shot at it there. Tasmania have the run of it here. Blackberry, it's in the path. Now he's got the ball. Goes towards forward 50, coming out to meet it there. That time it's Couch, has his kick partly smothered. Walsh runs onto it, flips the handball over to Bowden. Bowden for goal, and right across the face. It's out of bounds on the full. Probably a wasted opportunity, one would suggest.
Yeah, he would have at least liked to hit the target there, Jay Bowden. It was pretty well set up. A good attack on the footy by Couch, and then Bryce Walsh, I think it might have been, had just flipped the ball over the top, and Jay normally can slot them. Brent was seeing them do that time and time again.
That's exactly right. So a low-scoring affair here in the rep game for 2017. It's the NEAFL holding the lead at the moment. They've got the footy. Joseph taken over the boundary line by Blackberry. So an 18-point margin as we approach time on in the 3rd quarter. Ball in Tasmania's attacking 50. As the shadows start to take over this beautiful ground here in Hobart. Walsh is in there for Tasmania, gets the footy out. Taken high was Webb, but the umpire let it play on. Duffy throws himself onto the footy. Walsh gets the handball away. Chance now for Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear goes round one, loads up on the left. And he has kicked the goal, Brad Cox Goodyear. Tasmania peg one back and make the lead just 2 goals. And a much-needed one, Cam Brown.
Yeah, it was a good dummy that set up that goal. Just gave himself a little bit of time and space to wheel onto that left foot, as we see a number of plate changes coming off for both teams now, as we often see in this situation, as the transition comes on and new players come off the ground. And but well done there to Cox Goodyear, because he's so very dangerous when he gets on that left foot, Brent. He hasn't really had a lot of time and space to do that, and we mentioned him as one player that can kick goals as a small forward, but he kicked that one out of the midfield, and it just keeps Tasmania in touch.
Certainly does. 4-5-29. Tasmania trail on NEAFL 6-5-41. Brent Costello, Cam Brown and Mark Kennedy with you this afternoon.
NEAFL almost try to come away with it again. Seb Tape, he's wrapped up by Duffy on that occasion. I was really taken by the strength of Cox Goodyear to palm Reece Toy off. Give himself that time and space. Kerris handballs the ball. Lockhart comes through, shimmies around one. Inside forward 50. Getting up there was Bowden. Gets up to his feet, kicks it. Just slides across, and that's one behind, so the margin now 11 points.
They've lifted again here, the map, Brownie.
Yeah, again, Jay Lockhart prominent there, and Jay Bowden just starting to get some possessions inside 50. If you can convert those from a Tasmanian perspective, it certainly tightens up this contest.
That's a poor kick out of defence by Barton, but they'll come away. The NEAFL, although the kick's smothered, so they'll win it back. Bowden got it from Whitford. Yeah. Now off to Webb.
Kick.
Webb just finds a good target. And we'll pick up who that is.
Yeah, Trent Stanton, Mark, and look, he's always. You can always find that time and space in the forward line. It was a really good kick. I think it was Walsh you said on. It was a Webb on that occasion, and because he just snuck out the back and becomes a really important kick for him. He probably prefers him on the run, it's got to be said, Brent Stanton. But he should kick this goal.
He knows the ground beautifully, Cam. That's for sure. Loves a goal, Trent Stanton. This will bring Tasmania right back into it. It is off to the left, minus score. So the margin now is 10 points.
Well, it's just that error. The kick out of defence has really let the NEAFL down a couple of times this afternoon and given Tasmania a chance, and they just probably haven't been able to take advantage as yet of those errors. Ball on the outer side. It's Martin in there. Nellis does well, attacks it. Working hard there was Ryan Hart. Handballs over the top. Chain of handballs, Boston. Now hitting the target of Anthony. Anthony right on forward 50.
Loose man, boys. Loose man back here for the NEAFL.
Goes to the top of the 50. So right at centre half forward finds Batoli Simmons. Youngest captain in the NEAFL. Plays for the Redland Football Club, 22 years of age. So you know he's a very good player if you assume that mantle at such a young age. Former NEAFL rising star. Loads it up. Puts it high. Right to the top of the square. Who's going to be there? Duffy tries to hit it over the back. And there's plenty of players. It's right in that goal square, and the umpire says, give it to me. So an opportunity for the NEAFL to hit back.
Just got very close to the man on the mark on that occasion. You mentioned the Redlands Footy Club and Tasmania. I think Tommy Solder played there. James Charlesworth going back a few years ago too, Mark.
Ball up and Tasmania dragged down with the footy. Dangerous territory here for Tasmania.
So Tom Salter injured at the moment.
Yes.
I think he did an ACL in the pre-season. So for those Tasmanian listeners.
Here we go again. Oh, and kicked out of the pack, and it's a goal to the NEAFL. So, dear oh dear, Tasmania let one slip there, and the NEAFL increased that lead back out to 16 points. So, that was a very nice piece of play there from the visiting team. Let's have a look at the replay. All happened very quickly. And
Jordan Harper again, who's he's been a prolific ball winner today. I think he's up to about 29 possessions now, boys. So he's been a standout. And when you can, I think 5 rebound 50s, 2 inside 50s, and then to cap it off with a goal, well played.
He's been under the nose of the recruiters for a couple of years now, and I think he's just added a different level to his game, being able to get the hard ball and then that run and carry. And he does have the ability to get on the scoreboard again. So the margin out to 16 points. Going through there, that was Couch. Couldn't quite get the ball away for Tasmania. Whitford batted from pillar to post, and he's in trouble, I think, boys. That's holding the ball. So Keris will get up. He's already had 5 clearances and 11 tackles, if you don't mind. So the NEAFL bring it inside forward 50. Going to ground there was Anthony. McKenna did well. Siggins palms one off. Chain of handballs. Here's Lockhart, just released from the back line. Goes wide, looking for Bowden on the outer wing. Juggles it, but now gets a hold of it. Somebody tries to, thinks they're in the state of origin, trying to put one around his ankles. And the ball ends up just backward to centre with Duffy. He's got a man in Bryce Walsh on.
Walsh goes and has a bounce. Handballs over the top. Finds his teammate and his Lauderdale teammate, Josh McGuinness, who drives to the top of the square, but a good mark taken by the NEAFL. And it's the former Tasmanian, Daniel Joseph. He goes forward. And Jay Bowden trying to intercept the mark there. And the ball seen over the boundary line, boundary throw-in. So approaching three-quarter time here, and Tasmania, they peg a goal back, boys, but the NEAFL have all the answers, don't they?
Yeah, it was disappointing forward 50 entry there on that occasion from McGuinness. They had a little bit of time and space, and probably just could have lowered the eyes there and maybe hit a player on the coming lead.
Braden Webb crashes into Andrew Swan, and you'll get the free kick here, the Glenorchy Premiership captain and the captain of Tasmania today.
Worked pretty hard too, the captain, Brent.
He has indeed. A wonderful player, Braden Webb. And that's why he was chosen for that high honour this afternoon to captain his state. Ball goes to a big pack of players. Noel could take the mark, but the NEAFL do well to get it out of the danger zone inside the centre square. McKenna's chasing hard. The big body of McKenna. Anthony throws him into the ground. And well done there by Tasmania and Jay Foon, but didn't get too far before the umpire says, I'll have it, thanks guys, and the ball up will occur.
What about the work rate of Jack Anthony there? He put McKenna off, and he's the one that laid the tackle to tie the ball up. That's what you want from a key forward.
Exactly right, Mark. That's defensive pressure is so much a part of the game these days, and that's where a lot of the repeat inside entries come from. If your forward is prepared to work hard defensively when they haven't got the football.
So plenty of players around the contest again. There's Swan. Getting up from it, and there's Walsh, Bryce Walsh, giving the ball back to the umpire. Ball in the centre square, and there's the siren.
Very short quarters today, boys, and that's for one reason. There's only been 11 goals kicked. So three-quarter time, Tasmania 4-7-31, trail the NEAFL 7-5-47. So the margin 16 points at three-quarter time. As we take a look at some of the highlights from the third quarter, lads, how did you see it play out?
Look, there wasn't much in it. I think it might have been, what was it? Was it a 16-point lead at half-time, boys, or a very similar margin? So Tasmania probably looked a little bit better in that quarter, but just weren't able to cap off their work. The worry for mine, 4 goals up until three-quarter time, so they're probably going to have to double their score if they're going to win this game. So not a lot in it, really. You couldn't fault both teams' effort, and particularly defensively. And both teams working really hard when they haven't got the football. But just a couple of goals out of nothing, really, wasn't it, Mark? In terms of Boston out of the stoppage, who was able to kick a goal, and also Harper, who's been terrific today. Another one where it was just from a stoppage and was able to run through and kick a goal. And for Tasmania, Cox Goodyear got on the scoreboard for them. But they're going to have to find some avenues to goal if they're going to get back into this game. Tasmania, look, they're close enough. If they're good enough, NEAFL still look pretty dangerous on the spread to mine. I think what would worry them, and you called it, Mark, a couple of times out of the defensive 50, some of the disposal hurt them and just gave Tasmania a chance. But it's all set up, and you'd think if Tasmania can get the first couple of goals here to start the third quarter, Brent, then they'd have a real opportunity to get the home crowd back involved in this game.
That's exactly right. So we're seeing some of the highlights from the third quarter as we speak on the screen. Mark, you impressed with what the NEAFL's brought to the table this afternoon?
Look, I am. I thought Tasmania came in as the favourites today, to be fair. And, I thought the NEAFL would be very plucky, and that's what we've seen. We've seen them very hard around the contest, and that was something, and I know Coach John Blair said, we know that Tasmania have talked up their hardness around the contest and wanting to win the stoppages and clearances and so forth. And it's the NEAFL actually lead that statistic, 31 to 25. Inside 50s also going the NEAFL way, 36-26. So some of the key numbers are just heading the way of the side that's in the lead. And I think there's got to be a real turnaround in those couple of facets, certainly inside 50s. You're not going to win without those if you're Tasmania this afternoon. But, those contested possessions and also those clearances are going to be vital in this last quarter for Tassie. But, kudos to the NEAFL for what they've brought to the table so far this afternoon. 47 plays 31 at three-quarter time. We'll leave you with some highlights of the third quarter as we take a short break and be back for the final term very soon. His teammate, his Lauderdale teammate, Josh McGuinness, who drives to the top of the square, but a good mark taken by the NEAFL. And it's the former Tasmanian, Daniel Jones.
Maybe hit a player on the coming lead.
Braden Webb crashes into Andrew Swan. And we'll get the free kick here. Throws him into the ground. And well done there by Tasmania. Jay Foon didn't get too far before the umpires. Welcome back to Blunston Arena for the final term of the representative game for 2017 between Tasmania and the NEAFL. And the visitors hold a 16-point lead at three-quarter time, as you can see on the screen. NEAFL 7-5-47, Tasmania 4-7-31. Cam, Mark, we might, I'll throw to each of you boys. Cam, the message from Anthony Taylor at the three-quarter time break, and Mark, maybe from you, what we might have heard from John Blair.
Well, they've just got to fight it out, Tassie, and try and get on a bit of a roll here and get some momentum. And they've struggled to mark the ball inside 50. When you look at it from a NEAFL perspective, I think Nellis, Richards and Anthony, probably about 16 marks between them, but Mitch Thorpe hasn't been able to take a mark today. McCulloch only taken 2 or 3, so it'd be great if they can get some of the tall targets into the game. But and also the NEAFL have really hurt them from some of their clearance work. If you look down, Harper, Keris, Anchors have really dominated some of those clearances, 16 between them. So Tassie has been left to too few inside the middle to try and get some of that forward momentum forward. So look, Tassie, they definitely need the first goal to start this quarter, Mark.
And I think John Blair would be wanting more of the same and not letting their guard down, because that's when Tasmania can really take advantage, cracking in at the contest and beating them on the outside. We get underway. Duffy, we'll give that one to him. Here's Keris. He's been prolific this afternoon. We're going back with a flight. Was Toy.
Great, man.
Good, courageous work there by the Aspley player. Although it's a free kick going Tasmania's way, and I reckon it might have been a block, so Toy can come through. Whitford couldn't handle it. Bonnie just got it towards Keris, who couldn't handle it, so Tasmania will come away with it again. Here's Lockhart. He's been one of the map's best. This time he's wrapped up and he's penalised. And Jack Hiscock, it's easy for you to say, and he will win the free kick on the outer wing. He's short, finds Toy. His courage before was unrewarded. Now he's asked to go. He'll be run down from behind. That's poor talk, and Tasmania will come away with it quickly. Open forward line. Bowden's there. Barton gets the spoil. Barton again on the second bite of the cherry, and then backs it up. Bowden with a tackle. That was poor work from the NEAFL on the wing to allow Tasmania to take advantage. An error.
Here it is on the replay, Mark. Big tackle from behind. So big advantage there for Tasmania. They've got it back towards the end of the ground.
Tackle. Great tackle.
Great tackle. We're holding the ball. So NEAFL will get the kick. And the sun just playing a little bit of havoc out there now. Most of the ground covered in shadow, but that little pocket with a bit of sunshine still. Ball on the far wing now. 16-point lead to the visiting team. It's going to be interesting 10 or so minutes here to see if Tasmania can work themselves back in the match. A good mark taken there by Mitch Carter, former Carlton-listed player in the AFL. Been playing wonderful footy for the Tigers here in the TSL. He drives it long inside 50. And the marks for the ball's fallen to the Cox Goodyear's arms. Braden Webb loads up, goes to the top of the square. Bert's there. A number of Tasmanian players are there. But the ball ends up with the NEAFL. They've got the footy now. They go backwards. And it's gone out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So, as I said, 16-point margin. 2.5 minutes into this final term.
So Cam, they're just going to really have to bring the pressure in their forward half as well, Tassie, to keep the ball in there.
Yeah, definitely. Look at those sort of players who can do it, Mark. Zach Burt, Trent Stanton, they can really tackle. Here's an opportunity.
Well done there by big Bart McCulloch. He's got the ball forward out of the ruck, couldn't quite win it. Ball eventually goes over the line. I had a throw in. Cox Goodyear was involved there.
Just need to try and manufacture something from this boundary throw-in. Maybe it's Stanton that can find some time and space.
Michael and McCulloch just ripped off. It was McCulloch by Michael. Goes to Toy, who gives it to Keris. Keris just measures it up, looking for Anthony. Goes over the boundary line. I think it might be out on the bounds on the full. Yes, it is. And so the big man Siggins will put it back inside 50.
Siggins, the former Adelaide Crow, goes to the pack of players. And the mark's been paid.
Push in the back.
Yeah, push to Michael. So Michael will get the free kick. He plays on quickly and finds his teammate in front of the scoreboard here at Blunston Arena. He's down the line.
Gee, that's disappointing from Tassie. that free kick inside 50 there, because it did land in the hands of a Tasmania player. It might have been Jay
sloppy,
Bowden,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very sloppy.
They go backwards, the NEAFL, so not a lot on offer moving forward. Dangerous territory, but the mark
He's gone.
ends up with Hiscox. He's dragged down. Ball's still alive, but they're under enormous pressure here, the NEAFL. Tasmania would love a goal to get back into this game. They get the kick away, McCulloch, but ends up with the NEAFL. Rouse gets it off to the ball magnet and Keris. He was so dominant early in this game this afternoon. Back to Gross. He pushes it up to the wing. And now Carter walks and weaves, goes forward, hits the chest of his opponent though in Gross. Handball's over the top, back to Keris. Now the NEAFL move it quickly, be intercepted by Jay Blackberry. He drives it long inside 50. He was targeting Jay Bowden, but unfortunately it has gone out of bounds on the full.
I don't want to pot Jay Blackberry because he's just trying to work his way into the game, but it was a great interception. But why you'd bomb forward like that, had to lower his eyes. He had Trent Stanton, who was on there on the lead, but just a really difficult low percentage kick on that occasion.
So the NEAFL just tried to manufacture a few things that weren't there as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so just can't make it all happen all the time. Standing up tall and taking it was Gavin Gross, the skipper this afternoon.
He's played pretty well, Gross.
Look, he's just a good lockdown player when he needs to be, and he's done a good job on Thorpe. Here's Harper, goes to the outer side. Dangerous kick. Webb's there. He's got 2 to beat though, so I'll be happy almost to tie it up. It's coming in to help with Standen. And again, the NEAFL just trying to make something out of nothing, and in turn, turning the ball over and giving Tasmania a chance here.
It's pretty important from Sam Martin there to just lock that ball up, because Webb did have a player free inside 50. He was able to just get it out of that little tackle situation, which was locked up by the NEAFL. Well done.
Carter, who's worked himself into this game, off to Lockhart, who's been one of Tasmania's best this afternoon. Mitch Thorpe takes a beautiful mark on the lead. He plays on quickly, tries to find the option in Bowden, couldn't take the mark, but pushes it forward, still has the footy in his control. He's taken high, but the umpire let it go. He plays on cleverly, gets the short kick in, couldn't take the mark. The Tasmanian player, ball spills to ground, and another ball up. So Tassie just creating a few chances there, Brownie.
Pushing hard, pressing up and trying to get some repeat inside 50s. The difficult for him, for the Tasmanian perspective, that they haven't been able to score from those, but they get a free kick here.
Free kick to Tasmania, so this is a big moment in the game.
Yeah, it's going to go to Bart McCulloch. I didn't actually see what it was for, Mark, but he'll offer an opportunity here to score. Yeah, it just looked like a free kick against Michael, was it? Just had hold of the jumper on that occasion.
Really important kick, this one. This would reduce the margin back to just 10 points. And the man kicking the ball is Bart McCulloch, the former Brisbane Lions player. He's directly in front. Will kick from about 30 metres out. And it's away to the left, so Tasmania waste another chance.
Just poked at it, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
You know, it's unforgivable in the sense that you need to win the game and kick with authority. As we see the NEAFL really try and push the envelope, probably a little bit too far in some respects. It comes off on this occasion though. Here's Hebron down the outer side. Batali Simmons gets one over the top. They run, the carry. What are they going to do here? That's Toy. Goes inside forward 50. Nellis is there. McKenna was there with him. Barrett lays the tackle, but Tassie will come away with this one. Lockhart on the left foot. That was a poor kick out though on that occasion. He's been good this afternoon, but not with that conveyance as Toy goes back inside forward 50, and all by himself is Tim Barrett, the man from Sydney Uni, and this would be a dagger.
Well, here you go. This, you know, Tasmania missed one at the other end, and straight away, Cam, look what happens. And if they get this, the NEAFL, that's going to make it really tough, seeing Tasmania have only kicked 4 goals for the game, and they're almost 4 goals ahead if this goes through.
Well, just far too much space on that occasion. A lot of Tasmanian players had the hand up. I don't think anyone was taking responsibility from Barrett as he lines up.
And he has kicked, no he hasn't, he's kicked it behind, so a let off there for Tasmania. The margin now is 18 points.
It's going to be hard from Tasmania when they've only kicked 4 goals in, 3.25 minutes of footy here, so they're going to have to slam 3 or 4 on.
11 goals for the game. Very low scoring here in the rep game for 2017 at Blunston Arena. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you're watching us, right around Australia and the world for that matter.
What about Keris there in between 4 Tassie players, just getting a hold of it and tying the ball up, doing it well. They come away this time. That's Couch. The kick's not a good one, just bouncing off the chest of a defender, but now they get hold of it, Tassie. Here's Couch again. Gives the ball over, feeds it off, gets it back, a bit of waxing, and just finds space. Does the attacking player, and that man is Jay Bowden, and the TSL leading goal kicker for season 2017 can put Tasmania right back in this contest with an accurate kick.
He's a big player, big game player, and his team really need a goal here. We reduce the margin back to 10 points. So a hugely important kick for the 3-time league best and fairest Jay Bowden. He lines up. The kick looks okay off the boot. It has gone through, and Tasmania reduced the margin back to just 10 points at the 10-minute mark of the final term.
At the end of the day, boys, it's just your ability to convert in any game of footy, isn't it? And to make the most of your opportunities. And Tasmania with just as many scoring shots as the NEAFL, but look, a couple of missed opportunities, even going back to Stanton in the third quarter, and then McCulloch. So it was just really important for them that Bowden was able to kick a goal. It was in the right hands for them, and all of a sudden we're back to 10 points, probably the closest it's been for a while, Mark.
Yeah, and this is where Tasmania really need to be vigilant, because this is where the NEAFL have kicked the next goal to re-extend the margin. So it's game on here, Blundstone Arena. That'll come back to the umpire, so throw it up again.
Happened a bit today.
It has.
A bit sticky, that centre wicket. He's out there before play. A bit of a walk around, see the conditions. Beautiful day here in Hobart. Duffy gets his own footy. Now Couch goes forward, he's been in the middle. Cooper goes back with courage. Oh, McCulloch overruns it. Gross just puts it towards the boundary line. It's kept in there. Bowden's there. He's just sort of flipping around with it. The ball kicked up in the air. That didn't go the required distance. Gross gets a fist on it and just goes out of bounds, right on forward 50 on this commentary side of the ground. Tasmania are pressing. They're kicking to the David Boone stand end.
Temperature would be nice and cool out there now. Sunshine's completely disappeared on the ground here at Bell Reef. Ball back in play. It's with the NEAFL, driven out there by Bonnie. But now with Tasmania through Carter, who goes inside 50. No one available. McCulloch was lurking, but the ball out of bounds for another boundary throw in. So 11 and a half minutes gone this final term. And it does feel, boys, that this is the closest the match has been for some time. If Tasmania can jag another goal here, it is well and truly game on. Ball alive there, but the umpire's blown the whistle, holding the ball, so the NEAFL will get the free kick. And the man to take that free kick is Darcy Barron-Hay.
It's been good this afternoon. Barron-Hay, man of just 19. He kicks to a 1-on-3. Leaving it behind there was Fife. Webb's involved. You'd expect him to be in the clinches there. The tackler's Bonnie. He'll probably be giving you a whisper in the air, something a little less complimentary than good work. So the throw up will happen. Reinhardt and Duffy trying to come through and just should have gotten an award, I thought, for that one, Whitford. Through the head back, and the body slam happened. The ball thrown in again. At the back now, and we'll go over the back. Couch couldn't quite take it with him. Just slipping the tackle was Tape, and that was well-measured kick to Bonnie. That was good poise from the former son.
Great kick.
In the shade. Goes up towards Anthony. The kick wasn't in front of him, so it wasn't to his advantage, and that's where McKenna's going to get him every time. Yeah,
brilliantly called, Mark, and you could see the frustration from Jack Anthony. He wanted that lower where he could use his athleticism and perhaps his leg speed, which McKenna's not necessarily noted for, and that kick certainly suited McKenna where he could use his body and strength.
So the ball, dangerous territory for Tasmania. This is where they do not want to let the NEAFL get one back, as has been the trend this afternoon. They need to kick a couple in a row here, the map.
Been interesting from a NEAFL perspective since half-time. They've actually struggled to score, haven't they, Mark? Just the 2 goals. So they've certainly got the firepower up forward if they can get it there.
I think with Lockhart playing that loose in defence, it's really thrown them to find that space to give it to Anthony as Bonnie comes away with it. Handballs over the top to Toy. He's got some room to move. He'll line him up. It won't get the distance. Coming there is Anthony. Came hard. He cleaned up Nellis in the midst. The handball from Tasmania only went to a player under pressure. Barrett was right there, and now he's tackled, and the ball up will happen. So you'd say Toy probably should have done a bit better with that running into the open goal.
Yeah, he had an opportunity, didn't he? He certainly had a time to straighten up, and it was a goal that NEAFL would have dearly loved.
Ball to the top of the square. Nellis tried to take it on his chest, and the ball goes over for a point, and that moves it to 11 points of difference. So not quite that important point that everybody talks about as the game gets close, Brent.
Yeah, it's a really interesting part of the game right now. Make or break for Tasmania, you feel, as they drive it long again. Cox Goodyear's there, the tough nut that he is, with the ball back in the hands of the visiting team. Tasmania turn it over though. Here's Walsh, late inclusion. Lockhart, who's been so good for the map this afternoon. Jordan Arnold, and the umpire's blowing the whistle. Free kick coming back.
It's going to come back to Lockhart, I think, for holding on too long.
Okay, so he's been very good, Jay Lockhart. Cam Brown voting on the Lafroy medal this afternoon. Looking forward to hearing his 3-2-1 post-game. But Tasmania with the football. In they go again. A high ball, one-on-one contest. The mark couldn't be taken by Bowden. He leapt beautifully. And he's dragged down with the ball now. Siggins out of the pack. Didn't go anywhere, the kick. Standing, tied up with the football. So it's in a good spot here for Tasmania.
You can see why we wanted Jay Bowden forward.
So
even so early in the first quarter, because since he's moved there, he has looked dangerous. He's kicked the one goal too, but it's certainly got himself into some dangerous positions.
He has the NEAFL now bringing it out. Zach Burt on the left, couldn't get the kick away. Here's Cox Goodyear, couldn't do the same. And now the NEAFL with some time and space. It's Hiscox running through the middle of Blunston Arena. He goes to the wing, Jack Anthony with the footy. McKenna chasing hard, but Anthony gets the kick away. NEAFL now with some numbers. Oh, some beautiful slick movement as well. They go inside 50. They load up on the right. It's a running ball and it goes out of bounds. Boundary throwing.
What about the run and carry? Hiscox there. He's the one that actually kicked that for goal. And while it wasn't online, but what about the follow-up from him? The running power.
Well, that's that athleticism that we were talking about, Mark, wasn't it? That he's got in spades, and when the ball's in his hands, it looks really dangerous from a NEAFL perspective.
So Michael from the ruck contest now wrapped up is O'Brien, and that's by Toy. Harper there for good measure.
What's going to be a factor is the time, boys, isn't it? We've had some, quarters that haven't gone for very long at all in this game, Brent, as we tick up towards 17-minute mark.
Having his kick smothered there was anchored, so the ball is firmly locked in the NEAFL forward 50 at the moment. 11 points the difference, so the map have to kick 2 goals to snatch this, and it's probably a question of whether they've got them in them. Coming through there was Whitford. He's wrapped up and will go again. So Brent, what's your thoughts? I mean, they're going to have to transition the ball quickly.
You're right. I agree with Brownie. Time is starting to get against Tasmania. They've got to kick 2 more goals, obviously, just to hit the lead by a point. So all the work is to come for Tasmania. Good mark taken there by the skipper in Gross. Been fantastic for the NEAFL this afternoon. He loads up, goes high inside 50. Mark taken though by the map. It's Mark Walsh, the North Launceston star. He goes forward. Standens there, who's worked his way into the game this last quarter. And the ball wrapped up. Umpire let it go. And now again the NEAFL have some time through Hiscox. Ball goes forward.
Right
inside kick. 50. Good mark taken there by Nellis. He plays on super quickly, but the ball intercepted. Gets the footy back though. Inside 50 once more. Lockhart. What a star. Jay Lockhart, a lot of AFL recruiters watching him this afternoon. Wasn't his best kick. Picked up now by Darcy Barron-Hay. He goes again. Another ball inside 50 for the NEAFL. And the mark, it was spilled. Chance for them to really seal this for the next goal, the NEAFL. Under pressure, Tasmania. and the ball sent over the boundary line there by Anchors.
Yeah, you mentioned the ball was stilled. It was Xavier Richards there who had a great opportunity, did all the hard work and pushed his man fairly underneath the football, and probably should have marked that, would have had a shot from 15 metres out mark, and just had a couple of half chances, the NEAFL, but they haven't been able to take the most of the opportunity that's presented.
Yeah, you'd suggest a goal would just about put it on ice for the NEAFL here as Keris gets up.
Yeah, well, particularly in a low-scoring game,
So
19-minute mark now, so you'd think there's probably only five or 6 minutes left. Not a lot of goals scored in this quarter.
Michael Duffy, Keris breaks one, gets a handball away. You'd think that's a clearance. That'll be up in 7 or 8 clearances for him. Here's Harper. He's had plenty of it. Kicks it high. Nellis is there. The spoil was a good one from McGuinness. He wins the ball back, although he goes now. And Keris, the tackling machine. And that is a very important tackle from Keris. McGuinness he delayed.
We mentioned a tackling machine. He's had 13 for the match.
That's number 14.
14, so extraordinary.
Well, he's a star. There's no doubt about that. Jordan Keris, former VFL player, of course, with Footscray and Werribee. And I think he's been the best players every game this season, Mark, as well.
Leads the NEAFL MVP, averaging 36 disposals, 10 clearances. So he's under his lot at the moment, and he hasn't kicked too many goals this year, and you probably see why. That was a shocker.
All right, Tasmania, bring it out of defence. Oh, it's a terrible kick, and Gross takes the mark.
And this bloke can load him up, I've got to tell you. He can really give it a roost.
All right, so it looks like he'll have a shot here. Mark McCulloch, the man on the mark, and as we hit time on in this final term, a goal here you would think would seal the game for the NEAFL, with Tasmania still 11 points behind. This to make it 17 from the skipper, Gavin Gross, if he can convert. He lines up, will kick right on the paint, or just before it. McCulloch comes forward, the kick is off to the right, goes to a pack of players, and a good mark taken there by Xavier Richards, the former Sydney Swan, of course, played off in last year's grand final, and he has the chance to seal the game now for the NEAFL.
Well, the kick out from Mitch Carter that gave the opportunity before this shot on goal from Richards was disappointing from the Tasmanian perspective, because they had a chance to transition the footy, but Richards...
So Richards lines up, and the umpire does not move. It's a goal to the NEAFL, and you would think that is game over. The NEAFL move to 8-7-55, Tasmania 5-8-38.
Well, it's an interesting story in itself. Xavier Richards, wasn't it, Mark? Played in the AFL Grand Final last year, I think 10 games, a lot on the back end of the year, and then decided that I think they wanted to recontract him, didn't they, during the season, but he chose to I guess, explore his options and have another opportunity at AFL level, another club, but I guess that chance didn't come. So where do you see him, I guess, from his footballing future?
Yeah, look, I think this year, 2017, is going to be a really testing one for him to see if he can get back in the system. He's clearly got ability as Anchors comes away with it for the NEAFL, goes to half forward. There's the man we're talking about, Richards. Kick that goal, he gathers off the ground. Good handball to Keris. And they'll go backwards. And Batoli Simmons just hoists it high. Anthony's there, couldn't quite take the mark, but is paid a push in the back. And it's a bit over-ambitious on that occasion was McGuinness. So this one will really put the nail in the coffin, boys, if Anthony, of course, can kick it.
He's presented up pretty well all day, really. It's been a good battle. I've enjoyed watching him today, Jack Anthony, and lining up for goal here. He's certainly been a presence and a target for the NEAFL.
He probably hasn't been as prevalent in the second half because, as we said, he hasn't had that space to lead in, but his tackling pressure and everything from a team perspective is being good as he goes for goal. Doesn't make the distance. Front spot was Nellis there. Boston was at the floor, but it eluded him when out of bounds on the outer side. Just ran from the point post, and we've played nearly 23 minutes of this last quarter, and it's the NEAFL by 17 points.
So unfortunately for Tasmania, time you would think has run out for them in these short quarters that we've had this afternoon. Here's Couch, who's sort of been a bit quiet in this second half, Ken.
Yeah, he still worked pretty hard, Brent. He's such a hard player at the contest.
So the NEAFL with the footy. Here's Joseph, the former Tasmanian. Goes inside 50 on the left and straight in the hands of Cam Duffy. Gnorky Ruckman. Nothing on offer for him. He decides to go long. Joseph's there again. Couldn't take the mark. Punched away. Here's Richards. We saw that goal a moment ago.
That's the second time he's been cleaned up this afternoon. He got cleaned up earlier by Nellis coming through, so he's going to have a sore body tonight.
In it comes again. Starting to get a little dark here at Blunston Arena. Lights not yet on. Walsh. Cox Goodyear kicked the goal earlier in the game. Now the ball up. Cam, your best players for Tasmania? I know we're going a little early with that, but you'd have to say Lockhart.
Yeah, I think Lockhart's been terrific for Tasmania, and certainly gave them some really good run and carry. A couple of occasions by foot he would have liked to have. There it is.
There it is. Full time at Blunston Arena. The NEAFL run out winners 8-7-55 to Tasmania 5-8-38. So 2-2 now between these two teams in what's becoming a really good rivalry, but a low-scoring affair this afternoon, boys. What did you think?
Oh, look, full credit to the NEAFL. Look, I thought from a Tasmanian perspective, you certainly couldn't fault their effort. They battled hard, and as we're so used to Tasmanian teams doing. But look, just in the end, a little bit more class, a little bit more polish, particularly some run on the outside. Was probably the difference between the two teams. Tasmania certainly had their opportunities at times, and they'll rue a couple of set shots that they missed in the second half in particular. But well done to the NEAFL, Mark. I thought they were the better team on the day, and 3 goals was about the right margin, I would have thought, in what was a really low-scoring game, but I really enjoyed the contest.
Yeah, and I think the NEAFL actually beat Tasmania probably at their own game somewhat, and I've mentioned it a few times, but clearances actually went the NEAFL's way 43-32. I mean, that was a big discussion point and a big focus of the Tasmanians coming into this game about their contested footy and winning it around the clinches and so forth. But the steal showed by the NEAFL has come to the fore. Tackles as well going the NEAFL's way, 84-70. So really it was a great effort by the boys that are made up of basically 6 clubs from the NEAFL, that they've come a long way in a short time, and to square the ledger up 2 apiece with the TSL has been a great feather in the cap of the competition, also the coach John Blair.
Great to see all the boys out there having a chat amongst themselves. All right, boys, we might have a look at the votes. 3, 2 and 1. Mark, and you were putting under the bus by asking you for those?
For the whole game in terms of both sides?
Yeah, we'll go both sides.
Yeah, look, I think for the NEAFL, I thought Harper was fantastic. 33 disposals. He was just everywhere. 7 clearances, 6 rebound 50s, 2 inside 50s. Had plenty of it. He bobbed up at the right times. Probably one ahead for me, though, was Jordan Kerris. He had a few less possessions, but he laid 14 tackles, had 8 clearances, 5 inside 50s, 3 rebounds. It's the sheer work rate. It's the real efficacy that he really brings to the table in what he does and the way he goes about it. I thought there are a number of great contributors well. I thought Ankers was a good contributor through the midfield. I thought Tate did his spot no harm at all in terms of 16 disposals. And I thought for a bloke who only had 7 touches, Andrew Boston with his 3 goals was pivotal in the game. And I'd like to give a quick shout out also to a couple, and I know I'm going 3-2-1, I'm going nowhere with this, but I think the combination of Barron Hay down back, Gross, Barton, and also young Hebron just held firm at the right times for the NEAFL.
No, I agree with you, and you mentioned, Mark, if there was potentially a doubt or a question coming in for the NEAFL, it was that inexperience in the back half, but I thought they stood up so very well, and couldn't argue with your best players there. And when it's all said and done, Tasmania only scored 5 goals for the whole game, albeit 2. The NEAFL only scored 8, but yeah, look, I particularly love the work of Kerris. I thought he was outstanding today, and Harper in particular. But yeah, as you mentioned, the back half of the NEAFL certainly stood up really well, and they deserved the win. But as we mentioned, Tasmania certainly not disgraced from their performance, and it's just great to have this representative footy, boys, to have an opportunity for the players to to get out there and I guess test their wares against a higher level of competition and see how they go, not only from an individual point of view, but I guess from the competition's point of view, they get to match up, and these teams are developing a pretty good rivalry as we speak. But look, from a Tasmanian perspective, Brent, I thought Couch was really good, particularly in the first half, and worked really hard. 23 possessions, I think, and 6 tackles and 4 clearances and lots of inside 50s. But I thought Lockhart was probably the best for Tasmania today. I just thought he really tried to take the game on, and Tasmania always looked dangerous when the ball was in his hands, and we know he can run and carry the footy, and he's very courageous in the air. He'll get across and spoil. Look, if there was a slight knock on his game, there was a couple of kicks that he would have liked to have hit that maybe didn't quite hit the mark, but you certainly couldn't fault his endeavour today, and I think 9 rebounds from 50, which was a terrific performance. I thought the captain was pretty good today too, Brent. In Webb, I thought he tried really hard and had 6 or 7 tackles and 6 clearances. Mitch Carter won some pretty good ball off half-back. His disposal let him down on a few occasions. Jay Bowden certainly looked dangerous up forward. And certainly if they could have got the ball in his hands, it certainly would have been perhaps a tighter result. But I thought some of the key backs still I guess stuck at it pretty well. In particular, I thought McKenna had his hands full, but he always tries hard. It was a pretty good contest in the ruck between Michael and Duffy, I thought. But in the end, probably a little bit left to too few today from a Tasmanian perspective.
Been a fantastic afternoon. It's been great to bring it to you live. Mark Kennedy, thanks very much for coming down, mate. Been a pleasure to call alongside you this afternoon.
And thank you to yourself, Brent, and also to you, Cam. It's been an absolute pleasure to come down, witness representative footy, and it's played in great spirit, and long may this rivalry continue.
Absolutely. Just repeating the final score, 5-8-38 Tasmania were defeated by the NEAFL 8-7-55. Thank you very much for joining us here for the representative game for 2017. We'll catch you later.